Welcome everyone, you're listening to Calling the Audible and perhaps watching Calling the Audible. I'm your host, Pease Delariz. I have returned after a 1 week absence as my throat is no longer swollen. Joining me is the Eagle at Master Control and the Iggy at Super Bowl 41.
I don't know, I lost track.
This is going to be relevant for both of us.
That's true.
The Eagle.
I'm betting so heavily
On
against
Chiefs?
the Eagles, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
On such a close line.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I think you guys are going to get wrecked.
Yeah,
No.
I'm going under on the
No.
points. Yes, I am.
No, we're not going to get wrecked.
Okay, you
If
might. It's a possibility.
If it's more likely Philadelphia wrecks KC
I don't
than
think
KC wrecks Philadelphia.
I highly
but
disagree.
but I disagree that, or I don't believe that a blowout will happen. It's more likely that this is a close game.
Well, look, because the thing is that the Eagles are a smart team, have a smart coach. They're going to play smart. They're going to be smart, and smartness will ensue.
Are you doing a
That's
Sirianni
my
thing?
best Nick Sirianni. Yeah. I don't think we're going to look back on the career of Pat Mahomes and be like, yeah, he didn't win a bunch of Super Bowls. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of playing this in reverse. Like when we look back at the career of possibly the most talented person I've ever seen play the position. Sorry. The most talented person I've ever seen play the position, not possibly. I don't think we're going to look back at it and be like, man, he left so many more on the table. It just doesn't feel that way to me.
It's hard for him to do an Andy Reid
LeBron's
impersonation.
won 4 championships, bro.
Yes, and 4 and 6 record.
But doesn't matter. He won 4.
I know, but
like if Pat Mahomes goes 4 and 6, I expect that.
Well, but why can't one of the 6 be against Philadelphia?
Because the Jalen Hurts was to his backup in college. So
And
had they drafted Tua, maybe.
Look at them now. Look
maybe.
at him now.
Yeah, he's a backup. No, honestly, I like him a lot.
He improved a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot.
Absolutely.
From last year. Just from 1 year.
From the time he got benched against Georgia and Tua beat Georgia and broke my heart.
And even like that.
And through the time where Tua got drafted and got concussed and broke my heart.
A lot of broken hearts.
A lot of broken hearts around Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa for me. But the thing is,
Love hurts, baby.
love hurts. It does. But I'm excited for you anyway. There's a weird thing with Philly sports fans where they're like, finally, it's like you guys have been to
5 years.
3 Super Bowls in like 12 years, where Miami's been in 1 in my lifetime, and I'm 40.
It was more. Oh, it was 2004. The 1 year.
within 20 years.
Yeah, 20
Sure.
years. Yeah.
So less than a generation. You've been there 3 times. Relax.
Yeah. I'm
and largely undeserving because McNabb was terrible. He was
that's
great.
a hot take.
He was great at checking down.
And deep ball and running.
Yeah.
Westbrook.
Yeah, Westbrook was great.
That was awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But McNabb terrible.
Hot take.
It's nice though that Andy Reid, once he got Alex Smith, finally had a quarterback, and then now finally has a really good quarterback.
So, speaking of Super Bowls.
Yeah. What snacks do you have?
Exactly. Oh, we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Piece. I like that.
I read your article.
Because in my article, exactly, I had a
I'm
top
teeing
3.
you up to promote your article.
Well, my article, whatever. Division 5 and 6 readers. Well, the Division 6 readers normally will read my article. Thank you for subbing.
Thank
for
you,
me.
Division 6, for going down that marijuana-filled rabbit hole with me. Tangerines are delicious.
It was quite the thing. Yes, on my article, I gave top 3 power rankings of Super Bowl snacks. I need your both of you, Eagle and Peas, your top 3 Super Bowl party snacks.
Okay, I have an OLI.
You have a what?
OLI, outside looking in.
Okay.
Because I never have it, but I love it. Pigs in a blanket. Great OLI.
Yeah. It's just outside the cusp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's OLI. It's literally that. It's there.
But do you not prefer the sausage rolls?
Yeah, but so like in that family.
Yeah,
like
okay.
sausage rolls,
Right.
pigs in a blanket.
Okay.
Look, it's either a sausage and a croissant or a hot dog and a pancake.
Yeah.
It's, in that family of foods.
Okay. Number 3.
Outside looking in. We're gonna do. Are we doing like a draft? I think that we don't figure this out.
Before I answer the question, I want a clarification on what you consider a snack.
Any foods you have, because you're not having a meal at the Super Bowl.
They're just
but
That's
I
what
also
you
would
have-
consider everything at a Super Bowl party a snack.
Like if you have a square of lasagna, it's still a snack because it's Super Bowl.
Is it though?
It's a Super Bowl. You're allowed.
Yeah.
You're allowed to eat
a
copious
lot,
amounts of food.
a lot of many things.
Yeah.
I mean, give me some homemade guacamole then.
Number 3.
That's your number 3.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
am I
yeah,
allowed
yeah.
to choose?
I make mine from scratch.
Yeah.
Or
No,
so
that's a good one.
yeah.
I'm okay with that.
you can squash an avocado. Congrats.
just mixing the
I know,
ingredients in
just-
the right order and the right lime freshness.
The right jalapeno.
I'm teasing Eags.
Yeah.
So
Number 3.
I wouldn't have gone guac. But so like, are we allowed to choose the same things?
Sure.
Okay, because I thought it was like a draft.
No, not a draft.
Okay.
No.
So in that case, I'll save my number 1.
Oh, so your number 1 is
Well, it's
guac
coming
and
later.
Guac and cheese.
It's not.
I don't
I just-
understand this system.
I'm saying if I needed to ensure that my
Oh,
pick
no,
would
yeah,
remain,
right,
I would
right,
go
right.
with my top pick number
No,
3.
no, go. Your personal top 3.
Can we get some fanfare, Eagle?
Some fanfare.
Yeah, like when we make a selection, can we get like a sound, like a celebratory sound that we made a pick?
I wish we had planned this in the pre-meeting.
This is the pre-show meeting.
Yes.
Um,
Number 3.
Number 3 for me is there we go. My mom's themed donuts. She always makes she makes donuts.
They are amazing.
That are themed, like the colors are themed to the Super Bowl contenders.
Oh, cool.
So like it's gonna be like red. Let's say like probably like red velvet frosting with yellow sprinkles versus mint and vanilla or something.
Nice.
Like, that's
Cool.
that. She's gonna do that green and yellow, and then like who will win the Super Bowl is actually which donuts get eaten in greater volume.
Okay. Number 2, Eagle.
Well, if we're
Okay.
going to be doing something thematic, then we're going to open up my bar because every year I do thematic cocktails based on the participating teams. So this year I have a Missouri Mule versus the Philadelphia Fish Punch Bowl.
Man, Philly has nothing good culinarily, huh?
The cheesesteak, but
Yeah, I meant what I said.
I heard what Juju said.
I meant what I said.
That's a snack. We're counting that. I don't.
I
Does-
asked you the definition. You said anything you
Edible.
have.
Food, edible.
You don't
Let's
consider
put all the
beverage
because like I'll save my beer that I make, but we'll put that OLI. We put all the alcohols OLI outside looking in.
I mean, at that point, I have to go just pure classic chicken wings at that point.
Number
in time.
2. Okay, not number 1. All right.
But then
number
again,
2.
I have like 5 different types of sauces that I usually make and everything, sponsored by Mike's hot sauce rub and everything. So
name the number 1 sauce that goes with the chicken wings.
it's a buffalo truffalo.
There you go. Number 2 piece.
Number 2, if I have my pick, and we're gonna have a version of it at the party this year. Well, it's actually we're just doing a family thing this year. We're keeping it quiet because
Okay.
it was do a small Super Bowl event at my brother's or divorce if we were gonna host again. And I chose. Listen, I know I'm soft, but I chose love over the Super Bowl. So small, intimate get together with my brothers instead.
Number 2.
Wagyu sliders.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. It's got to be enough fat content because you're not grilling them that you got to be able to get some flavor. Wagyu does that well. I guess you can go like, fatty cut of beef and that'll be fine too, but if you can have Wagyu, go Wagyu.
Nice. Number 1, Eagle.
I mean, I was gonna go with my Super Bowl tradition at home, which is
That's personal to you, right? So you can't
Yeah,
my
this
mom's
is
donuts are not something everyone has.
but again, mine falls into the beverage category. For every touchdown scored, everyone does a shot of Jägermeister, and that's
again,
what the rules.
just use that as an OLI outside looking in, so you still get the shout.
but that would be
That's
my
your
number
shout.
1
Yeah,
at that
yeah,
point in
yeah.
time.
So you still got the shout out though, which is by the way. So like everyone has a shot. What was the terms?
Every touchdown scored is a
Damn.
shot of Jägermeister.
All right.
Damn.
So
Yeah.
Travis Kelce first TD, $50.
Let me tell you,
It's gonna be
the
a-
Chiefs 49ers Super Bowl, we got fucking wasted. But then for actual
You mean
food
dinner.
and everything, I'm going to go with
Yeah.
the assortment of stuff that comes from the oven, as I'm going to describe it. So regular fries, sweet
Absolute
potato
herbs.
fries, mozzarella sticks, all this
Potato
stuff that kinda goes in there.
skins.
Potato skins, yeah.
You're
exactly,
lumping way too much in
It's
there.
a
No,
lot
it's
of
because it's like
Ooh.
a platter of all this stuff that comes
So
together.
I get what you're saying. You're saying like abs hors d'oeuvre platter.
Yes,
But
exactly.
but the mozzarella sticks are way too salty.
They
They're
can
too
be.
salty.
I mean,
Okay.
if you make them by hand, they're not.
I guess.
Jalapeno poppers.
Yeah, exactly.
stuff.
All that type
Yeah.
of stuff, yeah.
Yeah. See, like, so for my number 1,
Yeah, number 1 peas. Super Bowl power rank
are you gonna
snack
produce the show?
with
No.
with the sound effect.
All right. And now the horn is because the pizza guy's waiting outside. It's fine. Pizza is great, but it's not my number one.
No.
I will grab a couple of slices of pizza, just like I will grab some nachos. Just like I will grab some of the abs hors d'oeuvres. My dad makes these shrimp wontons. Sorry, pops. Outside looking in.
Oh.
Sorry, yeah, the shrimp like baked wontons.
Oh,
Delicious, but outside looking in. Chicken wings. I love chicken wings.
number one.
Number one.
Yeah.
I've been fermenting peppers. That's going to become fermented hot sauce. I talked about it in the Division 6 article, which also cross promo for Division 6 because I'm a pro. It's going to be a lot of fun. I like it. I'm excited to do them. Even though I'm not hosting, I am bringing a ton of food, so I'm excited for that.
Awesome.
I don't have a
Ribs
chicken,
also outside looking in.
but this one says bird. Nah.
Sounds
nah.
delicious.
How about this one?
Ducks.org.
Ducks. We do have a team called Pigeons in Division 6.
That's true. That's true.
So
And what is pigeon if not for a small duck?
So we do have the playoff schedule coming out by the time this podcast
Is the article
comes out.
up? I know you're writing it today.
It will be up by the time this podcast is up. So take
How
a look.
late are you working tonight?
No, it's
Okay, it's scheduled.
It's 98% done.
Okay.
And needs a 2% revision.
Because pull back the curtain a little bit. We get home at like midnight on Thursdays.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's
Yeah.
terrible. We complain about it, but it's also the only way we can do this show and actually provide enough content for all the divisions.
Yeah.
We literally had this conversation
Yep.
today
Yeah.
about how can we shorten it? But then we're taking away from the division, so
Yeah.
fuck it. Our analytics say the bulk of players who watch on YouTube watch their divisions, basically. And for those on the audio podcast, it's somewhat more passive anyway. So if you're like me and you listen to podcasts while you do grocery shopping or while you're driving or whatever it is that you're doing, taking the bus, it's going to be passively listening anyway. So allow us to give you 3 hours of entertainment a week.
Yes. So that
I'm just waiting for you to say anything because I
so-
finished my point.
so take a look at the article and jot down the dates. The playoff dates will be available. Keep them in mind. We'll repost the article about a week or two before the playoffs. We just want to get it out there right now so that you have the dates and that you book them in your calendars because those dates are final. They are not subject to change. Barring, some outlandish or crazy circumstances. These, obviously, we were speaking about the Super Bowl just now. It's a Super Bowl bye week. And
There's still
it's,
some games.
yeah, it's only weekend games that there are not being played.
Yeah.
So Monday
That's
and
a weird way to put that.
no weekend games.
Tell people what's not happening.
No weekend games. Games will be played though Monday and Wednesday. So
That's like saying, as we start talking about Division 6 now, we'll talk. Here's all the teams we're not talking about.
yeah.
and then go into the ones we are. So remember, 5 games played is what's required for you to make the playoffs. So make sure you get them in. You have 7 days to contest a games played. So if you get to the first round of playoffs and you're like, hey, what the hell? How come I didn't get a game played?
Like way back in week 3.
Too bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
The next thing is, if you show up without jerseys and the scorekeeper enforces that you wear jerseys.
No, not that the scorekeeper enforces
Sorry.
it. We will
Here we
enforce
go.
it.
We will enforce it,
Yeah.
and if it's basically being requested or if it's needed by the team, not because of a color conflict, but rather because the team doesn't have jerseys, you will not get the game played. If, however, 2 teams have the same color jerseys, the team with the pennies will get the game played. So make sure you have jerseys. Cunning stunts, for example. I don't know what's going on. I see your team picture with jerseys.
No, they're pennies. They're the new FPF pennies.
Are they?
I thought they were jerseys too. I'm like, oh, they have jerseys. Perfect. And they're not jerseys. Then I look at the logo. I'm like, oh, that's the FPF logo. Those are the new
Come on,
pennies.
guys. It's not expensive. Just get jerseys. It's literally, if you all have white NFL jerseys, wear those.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Those are all things that are in terms of our in terms of like our functional.
I'm gonna add a slight
Administrative.
That's it.
addition to this administrative section. If you qualify for a playoff seed, but you don't have enough players that are eligible for playoffs, you forfeit your playoff seed to the next team. So keep that in mind.
All of these things will be communicated to your captains as well. So if they're not sharing
Have been
information with
already,
you,
are in the rule
and
book.
they have been. They will continue to be. if your captain has not let you know, that's not on us. That's on your captain.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why they're named captain. It's a responsibility. And so call on them to get you the information. And also, like, if that information is not clear or you don't understand it from the league, we're not hard to find. Players talk to us all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. 90% of my work week is spent talking to players.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And if
Please.
you're not getting information, stand on your desk. Oh, captain, my captain. He doesn't get that reference.
What are you, Alexi?
Maybe.
Dead Poet Society. It's a movie.
Yeah, I know of the movie. I never saw it.
You've
actually.
seen of it. You haven't seen it.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen it.
Yeah, it's good.
So
I highly recommend it.
once again, thank you for taking my place for the Division 6 article. That's where we're going to begin.
Transition.
That's where we're going to begin this.
Yeah.
I was working.
I know,
Come
I know.
on, man.
I'm just saying. You did a good job.
After last week, not doing such a great job. I'm like, okay, let me focus just a little bit. And I'm like, peace. Thanks for the Division 6 article. That's where we're going to start today's show. What are we talking about right off the top?
Well, it's related to our first topic, but we got some feedback on a Facebook group because I mentioned Baby Rays have former U Sports quarterback I can't remember his name.
Olivier Saint-Onge.
Olivier Saint-Onge. I forgot his first name. Olivier Saint-Onge played for Rimouski, played also at Concordia. Although I don't believe he was a starter, it doesn't matter. Obviously very good at football.
Capable, yeah.
Now, I will say a couple things. One is that tackle experience doesn't necessarily mean that you'll have flag experience.
Or flag success.
Flag success. Well, sorry, that's what I meant to say.
Yes.
We often we've had this debate many times. We haven't actually seen a decorated tackle quarterback come in and win a championship. What we've seen instead, for example, is Game Changers, when they arrived on the scene in Division 5, went undefeated and just strolled through the championship, and they legitimately didn't know that they knew they were athletic, but they didn't know if they were going to be that good.
Yeah, or the level of FPF.
Yeah, they just didn't know. They didn't know where they fit in, and we suggested to them we'll start in Division 5 was the lowest division.
Right.
So the question was posed. How is it fair that we're competing against guys who come in from U Sports or whatever, like the cap system's broken. To which I say, yo man, this is hard.
Yeah.
It's like, for example, none of us knew ahead of time that Saint-Onge was a university quarterback. You mentioned to me in passing, by week 3, like, apparently he's played before.
Tyler Gerberg had mentioned it in a preseason game where we booked the field at Lachine through Rob, and had said, we're in Division 6, and we might have a U Sports QB. Yeah,
fair, but that's informal.
Yeah.
It's not something we knew. When I say we, like FPF knew about specifically when the team registered. And on top of that, I always say that the thing is that when teams register, we don't know for certain if it's the same person. For example, if someone named Thomas Brady signs up to play FPF, we're not going to assume it's Tom Brady playing FPF. Yeah. We'll also assume that this person wants a high level of competition and will want to play in a higher division. But also, if we catch one person, let's say, for example, Olivier Saint-Onge, we say, no, you can't play Division 6. But then another quarterback or another player who played high-level U Sports does end up playing in Division 6. It's not equitable and it's not enforceable on our end to be able to catch everyone. Look, there's 240 teams. We're not going to be able to catch every single player. It's one of the faults. Like, it's hard to run a league this big. If we were a small league of 32 teams, it would be a lot easier.
And I mean, I know we're talking about quarterbacks because they obviously influence the game well, but we can use this for any position, right? We've had cases where like linebackers have come in to play FPF, and you're like, well, are you going to be good or bad in like a more agile-based sport and everything? If you're an offensive lineman, are you considered good or bad and not like in the way we play the league?
Look at Marcus Lynch's impact on Win Diesel that I wrote about in the article, right? Like, that's adding one player. Yeah. They went from middling to like, okay, they're probably, if not the best team in the division, right near there, right? Eagle.
Right? You agree?
No.
Okay.
Perfect. So the thing is,
just another point on that one too. Besides people who with football experience, I mean, if you're just generally athletic, does that mean we should also penalize you? Like, imagine if
what if you're a gold medalist?
If you're running track and field or basketball on the team or whatever, should we put you a higher division because you run fast type of thing? Like, no, that's also not fair to you.
Yeah, Jessica Bonstappen, for example.
Yeah.
Probably the most athletic person in FPF. Like, she's got a low rating because she came in through one of the lower COA divisions, right? So, like, all these things make it really difficult. We have thousands of players who play in FPF, plural.
Mm.
The other thing is, we've talked about, like, if you have solutions, we're all ears, by the way.
Yeah.
One of the things I've suggested is when a team comes to join FPF, they're not allowed to register in Division 6. They start in 5 or 5B. And the problem is, so my philosophy is the bad teams will lose and get wrecked anyway. So whether it's 5 or 6, they'll get wrecked.
Yeah.
And the good teams will find themselves either middle of the pack or good anyway, and they'll be able to be sorted. But that, of course, affects our cap. There's a lot of things we need to weigh if we're going to go that route.
And like just the quick thing off the top of my head, that makes it seem if we tried to implement that Division 6 would have like 8 teams.
Well, no, because there's a lot of returning teams that will play there in their second season, or like teams will get relegated from 5B into 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just goes against the nature of the cap.
It's just
and
it's not the way we've operated since the genesis of FPF.
Right.
We'd have to like literally change a lot of procedures to make it possible.
Yeah.
But also we haven't had to do that because it's not typically what wins in Division 6 anyway.
Yeah.
Usually, you know, the high level players want to play high level. And so it's a bit of the honor system. But it's what Baby Rays did, other than missing the opportunity to call their team Sweet Baby Rays, they didn't do anything wrong that's within our rules.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And look, they're 4-0.
And we're going to call them out on the show and we'll call them out in articles, but they're not doing anything wrong.
And they're 4-0. They
Week
won
9's
last.
gonna be fun.
They won 40-9 last night. I didn't watch the whole game, but they played right after me, and I saw a couple throws. Didn't look that great. Like some wobblers out there. Like
there's nothing wrong with wobblers. Wobblers are.
I'm just saying
level.
it didn't. I wasn't all impressed. It's not
It's a
like
different game.
here's Adam Sinagra level. No.
Adam Sinagra, by the way, no championships in FPF.
Yep.
Like he will get there, by the way. He's amazing.
Yeah, he will.
But it's
the
different.
transition. The transition is it takes 3 to 4 full seasons under your belt till you really start grasping the game.
Yeah, and he's literally the most decorated Canadian quarterback I think in history.
Yeah.
Like he's short of like CFL.
He was
right? Like,
draft eligible. He has like a profile page. On
Exactly.
the CFL.
Yeah. So that said, we've talked about Baby Rays a little bit. Who's more of a threat to Maccabees, who I think are amongst the class of division? Would it be Baby Rays or the Abibis?
Not exactly the way I had phrased the question.
Just answer the question I asked you, man.
I know, but I wanted to ask.
Nobody needs to know.
I wanted to talk about a different thing. Between those two, I think I really like the Habibis. I like the roster composition of the Habibis. I really like the way Zach Stacy's developed. He's like fast tracked.
That's another thing where because there's no ratings in fall,
Which we're changing
because it's stupid. He was allowed to sneak into Division 6, which again, they're not doing anything wrong.
No.
Kudos to them. Great roster building.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, for
Are
sure.
their wins representative though? Because they beat Gru's Crew and
Mhm.
Brock State University, who are
Mhm.
both 0-4.
Yep.
And then the only noticeable good win, I guess you can call it, is against No Fly Zone, and that one was a destruction. But you can also make an argument No Fly Zone isn't good. So.
Is this a Division 6 False King?
Potentially.
Maybe that's why you like them, because you were on the original False Kings and you
So-
see a kinship.
Through having taken some psychology courses and having a degree in psych. Yes, you do.
Degree in psych?
Yes.
Wow.
You do tend
Does
to.
that mean you could control my mind?
Yes.
Nice.
You do tend to affiliate yourself more with people that are more like yourselves than different.
What the hell am I doing
than
here?
you.
Well, you have a low opinion of yourself, clearly.
Yeah.
You should probably see someone.
So
about
yeah, that makes
see
that,
Iggy.
that
He'll
check-
help you.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Maybe False Kings, Habibis.
I on the other hand, maybe because of the thing you just specified, let's call it Iggy's theorem. Because of Iggy's theorem, which is a long-standing psychological standard, which we've established today on Calling the Audible,
Yep.
which congratulations.
Thank you.
Patent pending. According to Iggy's theorem, I associate with Baby Rays because I loved the way that Killer Rays played when I first saw them play in FPF. It was a team I was enamored with immediately because it was an offensive system that kind of reminded me of mine, and with sort of different priorities. Like they attacked deep more often, but generally the concepts were very similar. And I was like, oh, cool. I like what these guys are doing because I like what I do.
Offense.
And then now with Tyler Gerberg being a teammate on Hot Sauce Sports, I know how good he is as a receiver. I like Corey Bianchi, Curtis Ryan, Evan White. Like these are all like key pieces on their higher division team. Yeah. So it's not surprising to me. Like to me, the fact that this team all fits in Division 6.
Yes, that's the more surprising.
That's the part where it's like, oh,
yeah.
How does this team fit? Like not even
the fall. It's because the fall.
Yeah.
Because they played well. They had I want to say 6-4, maybe 7-3 record in Tier 3 of the Fall Cup. Faced tougher competition. I remember playing against them. So they faced the Kiss My In-Laws, the Diamond Bougies. But they even beat Diamond Bougie during the regular season. Lost to them in the playoffs. All to say they gathered so much experience there. Yeah. And still came out with a winning record against, Division 4-5 teams in what is Tier 3. And it's crazy that, they're still able to fit in Division 6.
Because here's the thing. Saint-Onge hasn't, not talking about his talent, but he hasn't played well. Like, he's played fine. Like, he's 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 3-1.
Yeah.
He's completing 62% of his passes. That's fine.
Yeah.
And he had a 3 interception game against Wild Hogs. He had 2 games where he threw 3 touchdowns. It's that you want to be scoring a minimum of 4.
Yeah.
But the team around him is so good that while he's learning, it's allowing them to see success.
Yeah.
So you can look at what the team has done offensively, and sure, that's fine. But Curtis Ryan has 3 interceptions. Tyler Banky has 3 interceptions. Jalen Wells has 2 interceptions. They have 5 sacks, 4 by Jared Aroney. 6 sacks. 4 by Jared Aroney, who we've talked about as being an exceptional rusher, even though the numbers don't even fully reflect how good he is.
Yeah.
So this is a Division 5, maybe Division 4, likely a spring Division D team at least.
Oh, C. Division C team.
D or C, exactly. Playing in Division 6 with a U Sports quarterback, which again, to me, is the least offensive part of them being in the division.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree with that. Yeah. So you're going Habibis over Maccabee, Baby Rays over Maccabees. I was taking the position of Habibis.
Yeah. But I actually like Maccabees a lot. I think they might actually be the top dog. That defense across the board is really good. The question is whether Shimmy Khan's, we saw him get shut down in the final already.
Right.
And so if he can just be a little better this time around, come playoff time, come finals time, they might actually be the top team of the division. Dime Squad, we talked about teams that weren't cheating. Dime Squad, legit cheat squad.
Yeah,
straight up. You falsified the team name, the player name. We caught you. Don't do it. We're gonna catch you. Again, because the league's so large, we might not catch you right away. We always catch teams.
Yes.
It's why we spend so much time doing what we do.
Yeah. And player pictures helped with that one. So thank you.
It's why we're going to be
the
enforcing.
Power of Eagle's Fist compelled Dime Squad to be the cheat squad here.
It's a tiny fist, but it's
You're
powerful.
welcome.
Yeah.
Not like I've been saying it for years. This was going to happen. So finally we put our foot down and we solve a problem ourselves.
It's almost as if we caught a team trying to cheat in 2 finals back to back, and then some other teams tried to do the same thing.
Who would have thunk?
Who would have thunk? So you want to tell us the story?
Yes. So I believe they were playing the Royals, Dime Squad versus the Royals. One of the players noticed that the actual Justin Charles, a quarterback that has played in FPF.
Played for Oreos, I believe.
Oreos, yeah, and in the FPF Junior
And we
system
know, of course, from FPF Junior
as well.
It's literally someone we have a relationship with for years at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they thought they would get away with it. Was playing under a falsified name. I forget the name that he was under. Joseph, maybe some. I can't remember. We removed the profile already, so we can't even look it up. Was playing under a 55-55
Justin
base.
Ferry.
Justin Ferry, thank you. Playing under a 55-55 quarterback rating when Justin Charles's rating was 67.
67, 69, something like that, yeah.
67.3 above the 65 division cap. So they had actually at the game against the Royals used Justin Charles, and in their previous game as well, both of which were wins and now are forfeit losses.
Yeah.
So they now fall to 1-4 after, I believe, with those 2 wins.
Did
they
they-
were
did they,
3-1.
Did they contact the league after they were informed?
I don't believe I saw a message, but I haven't seen every single message.
And again, they did this against the team in the Royals who have FPF experience, and I believe they have some FPF Junior experience as well, where they would have recognized Justin Charles. It's sloppy. It's sloppy.
Yeah.
I'm watching a Liam Neeson movie called The Honest Thief, where he robs 12 banks and nobody knows. He's known as the In-N-Out burglar because of how expertly he robs banks.
I thought you said In-N-Out Burger, and I'm
Well, I keep thinking of In-N-Out
Yeah.
burger while I'm watching the movie.
Does he rob the banks animal style, or?
Well, very quiet animal. What's the quietest animal? Like a cat? I guess a cat burglar? Is that where that's
I don't
from?
think cats are that quiet, though.
They're not. They meow, they purr, they make a bunch of noises.
Cat burglar.
Then again, with my hearing, all animals are pretty quiet. So,
True.
bad luck for them. But just don't cheat. It's a rec league. What are you doing?
Yeah. So yeah, they're now instead of 3-1, 1-4, and now one of the teams in red. Which again, the playoff format, it's not just if you are a team in red means you are eliminated. I believe Division 6. Bring it up here, but it's usually it's about 80% of the teams that make it. In Division 6 specifically, it's 24 of 33 teams. So if you are in the bottom 9 teams, then you will not make the playoffs. So just because you're one of the teams in red in your group does not necessarily mean that you're going to be eliminated. That said, Dime Squad is one of those bottom 9 teams right now.
Eagle, I need you to research something for me. Are pregnant women allowed to drink Mountain Dew?
Yes.
No, I need to research.
But why would
I don't know.
Eagle does his own research.
No,
Peas.
come on. That's like
He does his own research.
that's like the QAnon saying they do their own research.
I'm going to ask the follow-up question of why do you believe they wouldn't be able to?
Because it's terrible. So it shows bad taste, and so they shouldn't have children.
Yeah, but those are two different things.
Exactly. So look it up.
I mean, I can't say that on air. Never.
So look it up. I know. I thought of the same joke, and I couldn't make it, so I pivoted. Okay. So the reason why I ask is Mountain Dew babies are 3-1. And so I think maybe their parents being irresponsible helped them get good at football, like mutants. So not unlike mutants, they find themselves 3-1. Their only loss this season came to Slippery Slopes, which is
Surprising.
surprising, but also what's more surprising is that they won the next game, and it in itself was not a slippery slope. So good on them. Listen, they're not all going to be winners, okay?
Yeah.
I had to argue with this idiot for like 10 seconds.
Yes.
But so I don't know a ton about them because it's a lot of new players to FPF, but they're playing remarkably well. They beat Threat Level Midnight, who have been a little pluckier than we thought they might be. They beat Pigeons and Wild Hogs, who were a team who I was pretty high on coming into the season.
No.
So, what are your thoughts here?
I do like the quarterback play as of right now. I believe Simon Constantino running a bit too much, but you see that in Division 6. But he runs effectively, right? He's picking up a first down with every running attempt.
He's got 3 touchdowns.
And three TDs.
That's serious.
over. Yeah. That's serious damage. Over 200 rushing yards.
So you say you don't believe in running quarterbacks?
I didn't say that.
It sounded like you said that.
I didn't say that.
I'm pointing to a random hat on a random person's head.
When you can do both, you're dangerous, just like Simon Constantino. So whether it's through the air with 10 TDs to only 2 INTs, That's the big thing in Division 6, protecting the football. And with only 2 interceptions, granted it's only been 3 games, but still you tend to see the interception count just a little higher in Division 6. Some guys already have 8 or 10 plus INTs on the season. So the fact that he's protecting the football and distributing the ball somewhat relatively well. Yeah. Obviously, every team, and especially in the lower divisions, likes a clear-cut number 1. For him, that's Jerome Cauda, 16 catches, 140 yards, 3 TDs. But they paired it up nicely with Nicolas Fortin as a wide receiver too. So when you have a 1-2 punch that you can rely on, plus the running attack, it's that's what I like about the Mountain Dew babies.
Eagle.
Yes.
What's the answer?
Of course they can drink Mountain Dew.
Did you check?
I don't need to check.
All right, I'm going to stop the entire show. I'll check.
So...
No.
Oh, my God.
Some idiot needs to learn. Can pregnant women drink Mountain Dew?
Because you're doing your own research. Peas.
And is Eagle stupid? Eagle's stupid. That one came up. Yeah. First result.
I'm pretty sure it means Eagles, and yes, they are, because they're going to lose to the Chiefs.
Not recommended for children, pregnant, or nursing women. You asshole. Pay attention to the goddamn show. Do your job.
Why wouldn't Mountain Dew...
Because they can't drink caffeine. I think. I don't know.
Wait, it said children or babies?
Babies also.
Oh, so Mountain Dew babies.
So literally, this entire team name problematic.
It's dangerous. They're
so they are dangerous.
They're a dangerous team.
Dangerous team.
You heard it here.
So Eagle, are you saying I'm right? That maybe you should do actual research and not be on QAnon?
But you can...
Egonon.
You can have caffeine.
But also you're wrong. So maybe you're wrong again. Maybe you're always wrong.
That was actually...
Maybe you've gone through your whole life being wrong.
That was the best 5 to 7, 10 seconds that we waited for.
I know, right?
For an answer.
Also, you're reading it wrong. The Mountain Dew energy drinks are not recommended. Not Mountain
Listen,
Dew
bro,
is a drink.
it's the first result. It's not on me. It's on Google.
Correct.
I should have gone to ChatGPT.
And that is in the
I should have gone, but I asked you to look it up. So why don't you just do your job and not waste time on the 3-hour show?
What do you think about
I'm on the fly zone.
I love how it's my fault he can't read.
It's your fault for not doing your job because I got other shit to do. Like message you privately about jokes we can't make on air.
So, whereas Constantino is protecting the football more, Adam Weechie, who has played FPF, not necessarily as a quarterback.
He's played a little bit as a quarterback.
A little bit.
It was the
top season.
No, but even that Ethan Adrian team.
Prime time,
that's it. Yeah.
Through
a couple of games.
Through a couple games, but now he's really getting the bulk of the starts, the starter for the team. Like I was mentioning about the interception count, he's already thrown 6 after 4 games. A couple of games with 3 INTs.
Did he throw every game? Because
yes.
There's Justin Plant. Oh yeah, he's only thrown.
Well, the first game against Gyprock, he threw 4 of 8 passes. Or completed 4 passes on 8 attempts. 2 of those the following games, 3 interception games. But he did clean it up against Gruss's crew. I caught a bit of that game on Sunday night.
I think it's Gru's crew.
Gruss's.
Right, Gruss's crew. Gruss, this is your crew.
Gruzz's?
Yeah. They're gruising for bruising.
Is this like John Gru? No.
No, then the Minions guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gruz.
Gru.
Oh.
We're officially getting old, and the references are for kids' movies who are now adults.
No one's wearing a Minion shirt.
They screwed up.
Okay.
They screwed up.
So protecting the football. So he did do that against in his last game against Gru's crew. 4 TDs, 0 INTs. So that was the impressive part. He was I want to say picking apart the defenses. Playing more safe with the ball, throwing a ball out of bounds to the sideline where only his receiver could catch it. Little things like that he needs to continue in his QB development. And I saw a bit of the Bananas game with the week 3 where he threw 3 interceptions. He was a bit more of a risk taker. So it looks like already in 2 weeks' time he's playing a safer game, which is critical, vital. You only get 6 or 7 possessions, so not throwing an interception versus throwing 3 is huge in Division 6.
And to be honest, like 24 points against Bananas where you throw 3 interceptions, the team is aptly named because that's not a bad defensive showing considering your quarterback is let you down.
Right.
So like
the
the team name is apt. unlike Cruz, who aren't wearing Minion shirts.
So no fly zone or banana?
No fly zone.
Or bananas.
No fly zone.
That the
They're
defense
aptly
is,
named. The
that
defense is bailing
is,
them out.
is not letting them fly. The opposing offense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was the implication that they were making.
Do the defensive statistics back that up though?
I mean, they don't have a ton of interceptions, but like points allowed, like that's
Yeah.
part of it, right? Like so only allowing 6 to Gyprock State, who are going to struggle all season. That's fine. But 14 against Cruz. BBs, we expect it to be a stronger team anyway.
Yeah.
And Bananas, again, 24 points when you give 3 extra possessions to the other team.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
Yeah, actually, yes, you're absolutely
But is
right.
that a representation of their strong defense or just the poor offense by both Gyprock and Cruz?
Well, but I'm referencing specifically Bananas game, though, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Bananas game is the one where like
because they also got 3 interceptions that game.
yeah.
So like they literally bailed the quarterback. So that I think is important to consider. We're going to talk to Raf Morelli in a little bit. He's our Division 4 writer, doing a great job in his first season writing for FPL.
Really love his articles.
Absolutely. But while we wait for Eagle to get that in, I just want to ask you a question. If the season were to end today, I know I'm putting you in a rough spot here because it's one of your teammates.
Maybe I should be asking.
But
the
is
question.
Jerome Hovington? Do you think? I know, look, bias acknowledged. Do you think Jerome Hovington of Kiss My In-Laws is the leader in the clubhouse for two-way player of the year?
I think it's no question. I think right now
I think it's a question.
it's no question.
I think it's a question.
It's no question.
I literally asked it.
It's a easy answer.
Fair, but I think there's some debate.
I think no. I think if no. How about I'll state it this way: if the season ended today,
Yes.
he's winning two-way player of the year.
Yeah, I can concede that, but I mean, like,
That was the first part of the question, but the second part of the question was who could steal the award from him by the end of the season.
So, I mean, there's situations like guys like Dawson Pierre, which difficult is there's so many weapons on the read.
Yes.
Where he's not featured enough on offense, and the easy answer would have been Louis Beijing.
It's exactly who I would have
But
said.
he's playing so poorly.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Not great. Not great.
What's going on? I don't like. I was talking to Alexi after your game.
It was eesh.
Kiss My In-Laws against Louis Beijing.
The sheriff. Yeah.
What happened? What happened?
It wasn't pretty.
Yeah, I don't know. Other than that, Matthew Peacock maybe a balls deep. If he gets a little bit more production on offense. Balls deep is weird because again, there's a lot of different.
And they haven't played as much. I believe. I think they just went. They just
have 4
played.
games.
Yeah, 2-1-1 record now. If you played defense, maybe you could have made
No,
made a case.
no, it would be like even if 5 balls were thrown into my chest, it would be a disingenuous award.
I think if Emile Bolulo of Bébé Magique was targeted, well, not necessarily targeted, but if he just boosts his offensive numbers in the second half, his brother, I believe Vince Bolulo, has majority of the yardage for Bébé Magique. But yeah, the Dawson Pierre's.
There's three names I think that could have a big second half of the season.
Okay, give me.
Isaiah Lard, just because like the guy can be wrecking this division.
Yeah.
If he was cut loose. Gap Poisson of Team Ethnic. Because I think he's got to replace the production lost by the outside receiver named
Will Bissonnette.
Will Bissonnette. That's it. Like he's got to be that guy now in that team.
Yeah. And your number 3, before you say it, I'm gonna guess it for you, William Power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we started the season, Will Power was double teamed on every play for the first 2 games.
Against who?
Lelou.
Lelou were doubling him. They
I don't think it was purposeful. I think it's just the reaction to motions.
Well, maybe they saw his. Oh my God, we have to cover this guy with the curly hair.
And week 1, former teammate Juan Edgehill was lined up on Will Power, and Justin Blanchard took that as major disrespect. So I think as people remember who Justin Blanchard is, Will Power will get more offensive production. Hey, Raf.
Hello.
How's it going, buddy?
Not bad. Yourself?
Good. We're just talking Division 4 here. How's it going, my man?
Yeah, very good, man. I'm ready for it.
So Iggy says that Jerome Hovington is a lock for two-way player of the year, Division 4. He doesn't see anybody else as a challenger to the throne. Do you think
I think he's wrong.
go for it.
I think he's wrong because there's
Nice.
definitely some players. There's definitely some players in this division like Dawson Pierre and Nick Gropini who definitely have the athletic ability and the volume on both sides of the ball to put up numbers to win two-play.
Our argument with Dustin Pierre was just there's too much on the read offensively to funnel the ball to Dawson Pierre.
That's fair because his brother is Santino's brother Dante does take a big portion of the offensive targets. But I think Dawson just has that factor that if they need points, they'll just throw it up to Dawson and he'll come down with it. So I think he could definitely be in the running for sure.
Yeah,
Grappini is a good shot too. He hasn't had a lot of defensive production yet, but he's a guy who can get 3 picks in a week, and it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely been our anchor on offense and defense so far this season. He's a little emotional. Like I find his emotions kind of take him. So if we're down, he'll be a little bit down on himself, and instead of staying focused. So I think if he can fix that and just play every play like it's the last one, I think he can also really get close to winning that award, which would be his first actually.
Yeah, we'll hope that gets fixed after February 20th. Before then, there's no need to fix that.
So hey, Raf. So Iggy here.
Hi,
so,
Iggy.
Hey.
Hi.
So from the takes in your articles, I get the sense that we love the REIT, we love the Kiss My In-Laws. It's the clear favorites, and et cetera, et cetera. That's kind of the expectation of what was going in. What has surprised you the most in Division 4 so far this year?
I was expecting Fourth and Schlong to have a good season, and they kind of came off really hot.
Yeah.
Had a couple of losses as of late, actually, but Michael Caparelli is definitely one of the top tier quarterbacks in Division 4. So I think he's somebody to watch, and I think Wide Open Bar actually impressed me so far.
I didn't consider them to be strong at all, and they've been great this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Like them and Martin and Lefly kind of came out of left field, like some teams that we didn't really expect to have such an impact so far, and they're both sitting at 4 wins each, being in the same division, the Group E. I think they've been a big surprise to me this year so far.
Okay, what about the opposite? Who surprised you in that's not playing up to the level that you thought?
For sure, Bandits. I absolutely expected Bandits to have a better season thus far. I think they just got their first win last week.
Last night,
I was definitely expecting last night. That's it. I was definitely expecting them to have a better season because I played them in the past, and I know Blue Dreamers tied them last season with AJ at QB. So for them dropping 3 games in a row early on this season was definitely a big surprise from the bottom half of the division.
Yeah, Bandits. They kind of split their cunning between them and Cunning Stunts. They kind of split their squad. So
it kind of looks that way too, because neither team is particularly strong. They're both kind of good.
Yes,
but neither team's particularly strong.
But combined together, they would have been the ultimate team, right? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
The another question, you mentioned Fourth and Schlong. I was talking to Kevin Lubin today of Golden Eagles. I think before, when you were too young to play in this league, Raf, Kevin Lubin was at one point a really dominant low division quarterback, and we're just talking about how hard it is to take time off in FPF and then come back and try and play, given how athletic and how teams, when we started playing, were very static defensively, whereas now teams are very adaptive defensively. And he spoke about that quite a bit. And I want to know, when you see a team like that, where you know that they have experience, but they're coming back sort of after some gap, being a little bit older, but having also lacked some experience in that meantime, how do you think the second half of the season will look for a team like that?
Well, I think, they definitely have some disadvantages when playing teams like, let's say, the REIT and Diamond Bougie, where the kids are athletic, super fast. I think that they definitely give them tougher matchups. But looking at the rest of their schedule, Balls Deep, Vultures, In and Out, Voodoo, I definitely think they can go. They should go positive in the second half of the season and end with an above 500 record. Kevin Lubin so far has had an average season, not too
Yeah.
great, throwing 6 interceptions and only 14 touchdowns. But their game coming off fourth and schlong with a win is definitely going to give them some motivation heading into the back end of the season. So I do expect them to have a better finish than they did start in Division 4 for Golden Eagles.
Last question from my end here, Raf. In your articles, and I believed it as well. We're interested in looking at the Vultures. They started 0-2 with Phil Roberts not having a great start to the season, but this past week they took down Diamond Bougie 39-12. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on that game. I thought it was a surprising result.
That one absolutely surprised me. Like you said, Phil Roberts hasn't had the start to the season he would like, but they were able to finally turn it around and score some good amount of points. I think they scored 39.
Yeah,
Wow,
39.
And holding Diamond Bougie to only 2 touchdowns was really impressive, especially considering that Diamond Bougie has, like, they created one of the most turnovers in the whole division. So the fact that they were still able to get Phil Roberts to throw 2 INTs and we're still so far away from winning that game really impressed me. I guess they offensively they used Ben McMahon more than they had prior, and I think that was probably their key to success. I mean, they have really good players, right? Like James Drysdale, one of the best receivers up and coming, arguably, in all of FPF. So I was really surprised to see them drop the first 2 games. And I said it really comes down to Phil Roberts and how he's able to manage this whole roster and their offense. And that's going to be their key to winning games.
Eagle, you have anything?
No.
All right. One last question for me then. Your top 3 Super Bowl snacks.
Top 3 Super Bowl snacks?
Yeah.
For sure, number 1 is chicken wings. Absolutely.
We agree on that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would go nachos, 2.
All right.
And it's a good question. Number 3.
You can only fit one more thing on your plate. What is it?
I would definitely just go go to my roots here. Just a little bit of pizza for sure.
All right, perfect. I like it.
Nice.
Thanks, Raf. Appreciate the
All
time.
right.
Yeah,
See
thanks,
you guys.
Look forward to your article, bud. Thanks a bunch. You've been doing a great job, man.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right, good night.
Later. And we're back.
Nice. Yeah, it was a little taste of our different voice for Division 4 in what we've been covering. You know, it's been a lot of my voice, your voice, and I think we're going to incorporate a little more of the community, the media, the other media members that contribute to.
Well, somebody puts his voice on the power rankings and this show every week. Like, there's an article.
So
Jesus.
get that guy
2
off.
divisions he's writing.
Get that guy out of here.
This guy, ese tipo. So, we talked about the 39-12 win over a Diamond Bougie by Vultures.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that's not surprised.
I see it.
What it is Diamond Bougie are still inexperienced, and there's a lot of experience around Phil Roberts. So, like, if Vultures can play a competent defensive scheme,
which they're not known to.
They're not known to. They're not known.
They're all about the offense.
But it's Division 4, right? Well, I guess.
Yeah, that's where the offensive numbers are starting. You know, averaging 26 at least. Like, not even averaging at a minimum.
But this is also so. At the very least, Vultures have played this caliber defense before, where Jules Regenbald and Diamond Bougie, they're still new to FPF. This is their first season in Division 4. In fact, I was surprised that they've been this successful this early, because there's a difference from Division 5 to 4. Or Division D to Division 4.
Yeah, they were in D, Tier 3, which I think Tier 3 was their, it's somewhere between 4 and 5. So they went essentially from...
But like, based on the teams that were in Tier 3, it felt 5-year. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. That's still 20-plus games of experience, which... They already coupled with their athletic abilities, their flag experience from outside. I'm not that as surprised as you are. Just a comment on this game. There's, I think, 2 things why Vultures really stood out and laid the whip on Diamond Bougie. One, I think Phil Roberts, and you can kind of see it from the stat sheet. He just got the ball in the hands of his playmakers.
Mm-hmm.
Let them do the damage, and there's nothing wrong with that.
But is there some institutional lack of knowledge? Like Diamond Bougie just doesn't know who Ben McMahon is, doesn't know who James Drysdale, doesn't know Kevin Donnett. Like,
yeah.
It's like, especially Ben McMahon and Kevin Donnett, when you see them, they're smaller dudes.
You don't think much.
Yeah. And then, like, all of a sudden, they're catching ball in space, and like, what is this?
Yes, like, we have to be careful here, and oh my God, these guys are... Yeah. They just felt, I'll go with the Mo Khan word of the year, bamboozled. I'm sure they had the, oh shit, we're in trouble right now. So getting the ball in the hands of his playmakers, and then the pregame stuff. They were breaking down video. The Vultures were of Diamond Bougie. There's a couple game of the weeks out there. There's the finals play.
That helps, by the way. When there's tape on you,
yeah,
it helps. Especially the finals where you have the overhead view,
bird's eye view.
Because game of the week, it's hard to really see.
Yeah.
Although, man, I hate that people know a couple things about me now that they didn't used to know.
I know what you're referring to.
Yes.
Look, don't follow those beautiful baby blue eyes.
I know. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Now I'm gonna throw the people I'm looking at.
Yeah. Oh, what a concept. So yeah, the game planning of Vultures. They tried to take away what they saw, and in Jules Regimbald, they saw something they could exploit, and yeah, I think the score tells a story.
Yeah, for sure. Given that Kwesi Gordon-Mall is in contention for Defensive Player of the Year in Co-Ed 1, who can we see as the leading candidate for Women's Outstanding Player? And I mentioned Kwesi just because maybe Jessica Bostampin wins that award instead as the most valuable female. Although I don't love the name of that award. But anyway, the point is we want to value our women players in the division. So Jessica Bostampin is there, Manuel Bronsard, and Lauriane Beauchamp are some of the leading candidates. Who do you see? I mean, it's hard to not pick Jessica Bostampin.
Yeah,
in that.
It's just
she's a wrecking ball. Like
when that's it. When you're so dominant at one position, even though Lauriane Beauchamp is maybe a better two-way player overall. It's just the effectiveness, the third and long and fourth and long situations, the key situational moments that Jessica sets up her defense and the team with. It just leads to wins, and that impact has to be accounted for. And more above and beyond the 12 sacks in 4 games. She's averaging 3 sacks a game. It's crazy. I mean, we talked about it. I already got clipped on this. I'm going to get clipped again, for God's sakes, with my shouting here. But like, for me, it's Jessica Bostampin.
The one thing though is I can see Lauriane Beauchamp just having an insane second half of the season where she maybe she has 7 touchdowns caught already, right? Yeah. So it's gonna be, and by the way, 7 in 3 games.
Damn.
It's
nice.
Significant, right? So
yeah.
Rest of the way, can we see her go I don't know, 12 touchdowns, and then she ends with 19 touchdowns?
I was gonna say double that, right? Double that, 7, 14.
So, but let's say she ends up in a 19 to 23-ish touchdown range.
Whoa, 19 to 23. Where did we go from 14 to 19?
No, I'm saying if she adds double, if she. Because she's only played 3 games. As a team, does the team have 7 games remaining?
Oh my God, that's true.
That's the thing.
Wow. Oh wow. Okay, I see where you're going. So
if she adds 14 touchdowns to her 7, and she's at that 19, 20, 21
range,
it's hard to not give her the award.
Yeah.
Even though, again, it's not a two-way player award. It's the most valuable female player.
Or is it? Maybe we should reword it.
See what I mean?
Most outstanding, maybe.
Most outstanding, yeah.
Female player. You still don't love it.
It's weird. It's weird.
Why is it weird?
I don't know. Because if we just call it most outstanding or most valuable player, it's disingenuous that we're clearly giving it to our women players because we want to celebrate them. Uh-huh. But at the same time, it's weird to draw a distinction in a co-ed division between men and women because you know what I mean? We don't want it to appear as a secondary award either.
Yeah,
I know we see it that way. I want it to feel. I don't see it. Yeah, we want it to feel special, right? So
yeah, no. If she definitely gets 19 to 23 range, and even defensively, if she can add a pick or two, yeah,
She also has 11 tackles, by the way. Like she's
yeah,
just solid defender.
she's leading the team in tackles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd have to reconsider if she reaches that range. If she just doubles what she has, as impressive as 14 TDs is, at the rate Jessica's
14,
going,
14 I don't think would be enough.
yeah, that's
like
it.
it's a solid season. It's not
Yeah.
it's not outstanding to your point.
It's actually a very good, almost great season, but 19 is like eye popping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like when you look at the female quarterbacks, like Sarah Parker, the 9 interceptions is just hurting her. Like it's tough. It's tough. She's having a little down season for her standard.
Yeah, that's why I put the Emmanuel Bransard in that discussion over Sarah Parker, just statistically having a better season than Sarah.
Yeah, and so she's again, and Girl Scouts is another team that's only played 3
Three.
games. So again, 4 interceptions, 3 games is not ideal, but 102 quarterback rating is solid. 13 touchdowns in 3 games is very good. So if she has a clean sheet, let's say against Kiss My In-Laws, Northern Braves, and the Funny Club, which is probably the hardest part of her schedule, if she goes through, let's say she leaves that section with, let's say, 15 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Wow.
Let's say.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at 28 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. It's not bad.
That's
As a 6-game
solid.
sample size.
Yeah.
Like that would make her the leader in the clubhouse, I think.
Yeah.
Even though, again, I don't see much production defensively. I don't even think she takes the field defensively. Right?
Tackle, yeah.
Like, I think she just takes the field when she has to. On defense.
Yeah, like, oh, my player got injured. I got
Which, by the way, you don't want your quarterback hurting a finger pulling a flag or something, right? So it makes sense.
Yeah,
It makes sense. You play a lot of teams where you can wreck your quarterback season, by the way. You need to be careful.
I don't play a lot of defense
Okay.
now.
You
'cause
play
of
less
that,
and less? Good.
which is like, where's my cardio now? I don't run as a quarterback,
Do it
and
somewhere else.
I'm not playing as much defense. Although yesterday I did.
Don't. Get a sub.
Nah, I was okay. I was good.
Again, it's not the lack of ability.
I know. Yeah, I know. I don't play a lot of defense. I let my guys take more field time.
Which team amongst Girl Scouts, Justice League, and Les Petits Fuck finished with a better record, do you think?
I like what the Girl Scouts have going.
That stretch we just talked about is going to be telling.
It is tough. I love the 3 rosters.
I love their picture.
Who? They're one of the 7 teams that doesn't have. Okay, I brought down the team picks from 62 to 7.
Look at me, Louie, here, talking about what you did for the league.
89%.
What about what the league's done for you?
89% completion.
I grew the league from 80 teams to 250 teams.
Yeah.
We're talking about the here and now. What have you done for me lately?
Actually, I grew from 0 to 240 because there's no teams before Ps. Like, I refuse to acknowledge the pre-Ps era.
Mm-hmm. Don't go on Justice League. Their picture's just as good.
Yeah. Justice League was a team that I was high on to come into the season, and it just hasn't worked out. Like Kevin Lubin missing a couple of games doesn't help. It just seems like there has some roster inconsistency.
Roster's huge.
Yeah, that's not what I expected to see
go
from
on
them.
an Eagle.
It's massive.
And again, Sarah Parker, 16 touchdowns, 70% completion percentage,
Jesus.
but 9 interceptions. Like it's such a weird season for her.
It's timely intercept. Like it's just one bad throw that's getting picked off, right?
Yeah, and like 722 yards in 4 games. Like she's marching down the field. It feels like she's getting to the red zone and throwing an interception.
But
what it
isn't that
feels like.
exactly like normally where you would throw it if you are kind of like that driving team where the windows get tighter, the chemistry isn't there as much because your roster isn't consistent, and so
I
where
feel-
you think the
I
ball's
feel
going to be high,
personally
it's low, behind you, ahead of you. that
I
type
feel
of stuff.
personally insulted and attacked by everything you're saying. But yeah, no, the thing with Sarah Parker is also it's where she specifically has struggled in big moments in the playoffs and stuff, right? Like it's been in the tighter areas of the field. So it's something I think with her, it's really going to click and then she's never going to look back, right? Like once we get to that point, it's going to be night and day, and then she's going to get back to the regular level of dominance we expect to see. But to answer your question, Iggy, it's hard to not choose Girl Scouts, but maybe Le Petit Fuck just because again that schedule for Girl Scouts doesn't set up particularly well for success. You know what I mean? And we've seen Le Petit Fuck play in championship games recently.
God, this is getting out of hand. A lot of them, I just looked at all three schedules. They all kind of play the same teams. I mean, that makes
It's not a giant division. So
yeah. So that totally checks
it's
out.
just the 3 back-to-back.
Wow, LPP. What a great picture.
All three. The 3 of 7, okay?
It's a good thing we have a visual component to the show.
I of the 3 teams, well, we'll talk about Petit Fuck here for a sec, but I would actually choose Justice League, but to talk about Petit Fuck, they've had a couple bye weeks already, or 1 and 5. Yeah, so they're just coming they'll be coming off their bye week on Saturday, February 18th, going against Party Mix. I think that's a team they could actually have. Especially having added 2 key pieces. One of them being Phil Farah, but the other one being Caroline Larivière. She had that toe tap interception that was highlighted on the Instagram.
Yeah.
So not only did they add like a stud offensive on the male side, but a stud looks defensively on the women's side. So I think this is a team we need to maybe consider, getting a lot of wins coming down, because they're 1-1-1 right now, having tied Free Smoke with Jimmy Janvier throwing is a much more dangerous team.
Yeah.
And so while I like what the Pacific can do, I'll go with Justice League to finish with the better record there.
Yeah. Justice League, really.
Yeah.
I'm going Girl Scouts. I'm as big a Sarah Parker fan as exists on Earth, but
Yeah.
I really like what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I think Kiss My Outlaws are in for a surprising game. Like it's going to be tougher than they think it will be, even though I think Kiss My Outlaws are a stronger team.
Yeah.
Like this might be a trap game for them. It might be a trap
Interesting.
game. We'll see what I pick at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Also, Kevin Wyeth continues his ridiculous pace. You guys talked about it last week.
We're going to talk about it every week. Eagle,
Well, we're on record watch.
Did you
right?
get the countdown
No.
set up? Why do we pay this guy?
I don't know. He's overpaid by a lot.
To
Yeah.
figure out all the things you're not doing.
So, I mean,
To fix the issues you create.
again, my job is to show up, be handsome, and talk. So I do that every week.
Yeah, this is the LeBron watch.
We should like cut into programming, but like with random Kevin Wyeth updates, like he's having dinner with his family.
Taco Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get Kevin Wyeth on Periscope so he'll be the only user, but we'll be able to follow. We'll be able to follow what he's doing all day long. OnlyFans. Get a Kevin Wyeth OnlyFans.
Oh.
I watch that.
That would
It
actually
doesn't have to be
amazing.
sexual. It doesn't have to be sexual.
Yeah, I know.
It
Just
could just
watch
be-
him throw
Yeah.
his throwing motion.
If you want to watch Kevin Wyeth break the record, you can pay $9.99 a month.
That would
I like
actually be
it.
great content, honestly.
Yeah, I'd pay. Why not?
So he's 22 away from tying the record, 23 to surpass
So
it.
it seems ridiculous to get that many touchdowns in 4 games, but also it's it's kind of the pace he's been on. But it's
You want to phrase that again?
yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't
Cut.
quite get it.
Kevin Wyeth, good.
It would
Me peas.
it would seem ridiculous to keep that pace, right? Like 22 or 23 touchdowns in 4 games.
Right.
Seems like it would be difficult to accomplish, except
Right.
that he's far exceeding that pace.
Yeah, there you go. Now you phrased it
Yes.
and worded it well.
He got me one time, okay?
Yeah. Yes.
So
That's it?
That is my comment.
Yeah.
Now you say a thing.
If there were to be a game on the Vengeance schedule that would set him back off the pace, which one would it be?
Do they have crossover games?
No.
Maybe Urgence Mintic.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And maybe
if it had
Moretti
to
because
be-
they take forever sometimes on offense.
Oh, you know what?
That might
That's
slow them down.
It's nothing that they're gonna do defensively
No.
that's gonna stop Kevin
They'll
Wyeth.
just only allow 5 touchdowns.
Because there'll only be 5 possessions for Vengeance. So yeah, I'll go Moretti for that reason.
The caveat is, if Moretti, let's say like they start down 7-0 or 6-0, whatever, or 8-0 because it's Kevin Wyeth, and then Joey Taylor throws an early interception, and then they're down 2 scores, and then all of a sudden Moretti have to go quicker, then this game gets out of hand.
Don't they just run the same offense but quicker?
They kind of do. but the but quicker makes it
Yes.
game have more possessions.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
So that, or like I said, Jean Smith-Zik, the defense has been quite good for Jean Smith-Zik. Like, we haven't talked about it a ton, but they're the only team to allow less than 105 points so far.
Yep.
And not like, it's not like they've had a game where they allowed a lot of points. Like, it's been consistent. So they've not allowed 30 points this season.
They're also going to be in a position where going into that game, you're going to know how many touchdowns he needs to break the record. And so forget winning. You can just be like, party poopers type of thing.
Will he have the record before he gets there?
That's the
will
big
he will he
question.
throw 23 touchdowns in 3 games? I mean,
Maybe.
But it's funny because you say that out loud, and my first thought was,
sounds
there's
ridiculous.
no way. And then I'm like, well, hold on.
Maybe.
because it's 7 and a
It's-
touch, right?
It's 7 plus 2
Yeah.
to break it.
So like, if we actually look at like, here's
He's
the
been throwing 8.
yeah, like 8, 7, 7, 8, 7.
It's on
he's,
pace.
He's gonna do it in 3 games, unless like, okay, Joey, you're a Hall of Famer. You got to do the Hall of Fame thing
Yeah.
and take the ball out of Kevin Wyatt's hands.
So how about this? So if you had to buy tickets to see one of the
I like this.
one of the last, either the last game or second to last game, and you can only buy one ticket to one game. Well, a ticket to one game. Which game are you buying?
With the chance of watching him break the record.
Yes. Is it going to be the last game or the second to last game? LeBron watch.
It's the second to last game.
Really? You're buying a ticket to that one?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even if it's like 6 this week, I can see him going 8 and 8.
Yeah. 16-24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like at the very least, you want to buy your ticket for the run-of-ones game,
Yeah.
and that way, if he doesn't get it, you still have the chance to see it happen against Jean Smith-Zik. Why are all these games at Lachine?
Because Sundays.
I know, but why are these games at Lachine?
You won't
Break
have
the record closer to me.
to Hebert.
Yeah.
Admittedly, though, it's the same. It's like one day or the day after, right? So, I mean, you can always just sleep there. Like, find a nice
No,
spot
I'm
in the
not doing
parking
that.
lot.
Why would I sleep in Lachine? The West Island, that's almost Laval. Not in location, but in stature. The West Island's almost Laval.
Sure.
Is Run It Once a threat to vengeance, you think?
No. Just no one is. Like, Vengeance is just on another level.
I find the team name curious because, like, Vengeance kind of feels like this team is coming back and they're gonna show everyone, and like it feels like an underdog name. And it's like
when
no,
you're the
like,
powerhouse.
it should just be called like, I don't know, shit on everybody else or crush you or something. Like
Crush you.
Vengeance is like, yeah, what's the vengeance for? Like
Yeah.
who are you taking vengeance on?
Yeah.
Teams that you were better than to begin with? Cool.
No, I don't think they that runner ones can, like, I see a final score 54-34. That's a 20-point gap. Like, that's 3 TDs. Yeah,
It'll be tough.
yeah.
It'll be tough. They're a really good team. And I've said it before on this program, I love everything Jeff Rosenblatt's doing in terms of team building. And I talked to him at the field. He's like, listen, there's only so many established Division 1 guys and Division 2 guys. You need to go out and find other talent.
Yeah.
He's not, so like, that's the Jesse Dupuis debate that we've been having, right? Is like, Jesse Dupuis says, well, but there's only so many of these guys, and they're all playing with, Wyatt and Lazara and so on. And like, he actually called out some guys, I won't say by name, but he's like, why are guys deciding to be the number 5 guy for Kevin Wyatt where they could be the number 1 or 2 guy with me?
Fair
So
point.
that's a fair point.
Yeah.
But on the other side of it is, there's the James Drysdales of the world. I guess he also playing with Kevin Wyatt in Division 1.
Two.
But like,
He's
there's
playing
guys,
with Rosenblatt in Div 1.
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But there you go. So like, that's a good move by Rosenblatt,
Yeah.
taking in James Drysdale to
Yeah.
compete in Division 1. There's a lot of these guys who aren't as established. Just Sanders Armand comes to mind, who, by the way, in terms of physique, in terms of skill, in terms of knowledge, in terms of just raw intuition on the field, is a Division 1 caliber player. If
Yeah.
he's not there yet,
Yeah.
it's
coming.
just the
It's
experience of
coming.
playing in a division that'll come there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, to me, he has all the makings of it. So, and on top of that, having like a guy like John Laristis, who's Hall of Fame eligible every year. John, you're gonna get it one year, I promise. But like the fact that like you have this guy who's on the cusp of FBF Hall of Fame, playing within this these up and comers like Ben McMahon and Sanders Armand. Like it's a well built roster.
Yeah,
it's a well built roster. It's just it's not
quite.
Jeff Rosenblatt is not Kevin White. He just isn't.
Yeah.
And
it's you don't find these guys. They don't come and even with experience and quarterback progression.
Yeah.
That's like the Nadals and and Federers, right? Like
we're at that point in FPF, right? Where we have Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic, right? Like we have Lazara, Mario, and Kevin Wyatt. Yeah. They're all playing in our time, like in this time, right?
So it just sucks. You were born in the wrong era.
In a sense, right?
Sorry,
like in a league where those guys don't, in a world where those guys don't exist. Jeff Rosenblatt he's amazing us with his system and his intelligence. Yeah. But man, like it's cool. It's cool to be top 5-6 quarterback in FPF.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a great accomplishment.
But this the gap from 3 to the rest is significant at this point.
Yeah.
Like Mahomes and Hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually, yes. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, because one of them was a backup to Tua.
I'm not in denial. I know where they rank.
You're the first. You're the first almost reasonable Philly fan I've met in my life. Almost reasonable.
You've had Mitch Gallo on. You've talked to Mitch.
I meant what I said.
Oh, is he? I don't know.
Yeah. I like Mitch, by the way. I like to tease him though. But yeah, he's a psychopath. Isn't that his thing? Isn't that his whole shtick? Is that he's a psychopath?
Angry Gallo.
Yeah.
Well, that. He used to be angry. Now he's
a more chill now. The pandemic really calmed him down a little bit.
Send him out.
Should Killer B shake things up at QB? Can Pat Chenard, do you think, lead them to playoffs? Like I like Pat Chenard as a player. I just always felt as though he and like kudos to him. He always feels like he's playing a division above his actual capabilities. Although he'd probably be a touch strong for Division 3. Like I don't know. What do you see him?
No, I think Division 2 is in the lower end of Division 2.
Is he just one of these guys who's
but why? I think that's the big question, right? Is it because the other talent is superior to him at a quarterback perspective, or is he just playing below his expectations?
Below his and our expectations. I think it's the latter because he has the talent, right? And while these defenses are good, he should be able to break down these defenses.
But he hasn't been a full-time quarterback since spring 2021. And we talked about this with Kevin Lubin, right? That stepping away from being a full-time quarterback and then coming back, you see how athletic, how well-built the teams are, and how adaptive. One thing I see from season to season is teams not just playing dumbass zones.
Yeah.
They're more reactive to the play call. They see what you're doing and they try and attack your concepts.
They take it away. Yeah.
And that's something that if you don't play every season in and out, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard.
Look, he's targeting David Zuma-Goulet like a ton on this team. Like he has 40 targets. The next most is 16 from Laurent Olivier-Vien. So maybe he's not adjusting to what so he's hitting Zuma-Goulet a ton. Defenses are reacting to it, are maybe manning up on him and zoning the rest of everyone else, putting like a high-low concept on him. They're doing things that are taking it away, and then he's not adapting to the game. And it happens. I had a game last night where for the first time I didn't adapt to what a defense was doing, and it was we let a 26-6 lead evaporate. Well, almost 26-20. Anyways, so it
what are you, the Chargers?
All to say that it happens when you don't react to what the defenses are doing. These things happen. Struggles occur.
So the thing is, if you're looking at this receiving core, and not to take anything away from them as individual players, but if you're not touch foot 450, but let's say you're blessed. You're Ozan Svidzek, you run it once. Teams that are going to be facing them in the next few weeks. Who scares you? who legitimately puts fear in you. The way that James Drysdale might from Vengeance, or the way everything on Braves 2.0 scares you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like who is the George Gary P on this team? Who is that guy?
I mean, you'd have a case for Guillaume Racine-Tessier, where last season he had close to 500 yards, just 3 yards shy of 500, 14 touchdowns, 44 receptions.
So it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
But it's not like eye-popping.
But now he has 5 receptions for 35 yards.
Yeah.
So how come he's not? He was a key player, key receiver for them last year. Why is he not getting involved? Now, different quarterback, of course.
Mhm.
So is he not finding chemistry with Pat Chenard? That's probably it. We also had last year another 450-yard receiver in Alexandre Massot, 13 TDs. This year, 6 receptions for 81 yards and a touchdown. So clearly these guys that were the pinnacle of the core of the Killer Bees offense, not getting the same looks, not getting the same, not on the same page with Pat Chenard.
I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and they're related.
Okay.
Is there anyone whose level of ability is less commensurate with how he looks physically than Matt Kerouac?
What?
Like anybody who is as good as Matt
Yes.
Kerouac,
Yes.
who doesn't look like he's as good as Matt Kerouac.
Yes, there are players like there's a ton of players like that.
Iggy has walked into the trap of answering the question without asking, "What do you mean? Can you clarify what he looks like?"
Why? You have a picture you want to show?
No, because you
No.
answered a question that's a leading question without understanding what you're answering. You'd be terrible at testimony.
I'm saying he looks like he's got dad bod, he's out of shape.
Yeah, I know.
But you didn't say that, but you agreed to it without him having to say that.
But anyway,
Thanks.
whose level of ability is so much further ahead of
Yes.
what they look like physically than
Yeah.
Matt Kerouac?
There's
I'm saying he's washed. I think he looks washed.
I didn't say that. You said that.
I know. I'm
Yeah,
saying it.
Yeah. There's a lot of players like that in FPF where you just look at them, you're like,
Name one.
and where you're like,
Name one.
Jeff Rosenblatt.
Name 2.
Pease Delarice.
No, God, no. I look every bit as unathletic as I am. But yeah, so start 1, sit 1, cut 1 as a 2-way player. This one's easy for me, obviously. But James Drysdale, Anthony Brisebois, Matt Kerouac.
Okay. I'm benching Matt Kerouac.
Okay, that's an easy cut for me. It's like in the NFL, you cut the old guys to make room for the more athletic younger people.
I'm putting him on my roster. I'm benching him for the 2-way ability as a rusher.
I would just grab his visor and have him like be assistant coach or something.
The rusher. I'm cutting my boy James Drysdale. I know. Hot take. James is not gonna like this when he hears this. I'm gonna hear it. I'm gonna get a message tomorrow. Ding. And I gotta start Anthony Brisebois. The Crackwood is on a different level. I've actually talked about this with James. He's like, dude, this guy's a monster. They're teammates and like. They're not teammates this winter, and they're like, dude, I miss you. There's like a bromance between them.
Yeah.
Crackwood's on. He's on another level.
Yeah, I'd probably start Crackwood. I'd bench Drysdale.
Yeah.
It'd be a tough bench, but
Yeah,
like it's hard to bench.
it's hard to. Yeah.
But yeah, Matt Kerouac's gone.
Ooh,
Cut. Like get a clipboard.
you're a coach.
You're a coach now. Just draw some lines and some arrows at the end.
Yeah, I feel like you'll be getting a message tomorrow.
Bah, whatever.
Yeah.
I always get messages.
What's one more?
Yeah, like honestly, like it would be a message saying thank you for keeping me relevant in FPF by mentioning me on the podcast.
I just think.
We saw him juggle some balls too in Game of the Week, so I don't know. 2-way player, he's got to play offense too, right?
Yeah. He's one of the better centers, snappers in.
Was.
In
He was.
Oof. Tough crowd. I mean, he plays the key positions down the middle without being a quarterback.
I mean,
right?
we've seen him play quarterback too.
Oh, I haven't. I guess it's not good.
I'm
Yeah.
honestly, it's
We're-
tongue in cheek, of course.
Yes, of course.
It's hard to because I think he started playing in Div 3. It's hard to play quarterback in
Oh
FPL.
Jesus!
Yeah,
And he started in Div 3. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a tough routing. Like
Yeah.
it's hard, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Really hard.
But yeah, no, like Matt's great, and
Yeah.
he's a great dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's old and washed. Ghosted and Stars have struggled, and the women's won out of the gate. They face each other on February 26th. Is this a battle for the last playoff spot? And if so, why? Also, just say why, even if not.
Can we also just look at this Ghosted schedule for a second? Like, they have not been easy games.
No, it sucks.
This is awful.
They got Fit Squad, who I think are playing a little bit lower than under their capability, but they also got them on week 1, and then Brut, Vortex,
And Les Bleus.
Les Bleus. Oof.
Yeah, that's a rough
Oof.
schedule.
They beat
And as
Torrance.
for Stars, I mean, somewhat similar but different.
Yeah, they also beat Torrance. They face off against Brut, Les Bleus, Bees, and also beat Fit Squad.
So similar start to the season in
They're, I believe, the Trois-Rivières women's team.
okay.
Which, by the way, if I'm wrong, correct me, please.
I mean, that makes sense. You just Quebec à Trois-Rivières.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So what was the question that they
So
face each
They
other?
face each other February 26th. Is
Yeah.
that going to be a battle for the last playoff spot?
I think so.
Why?
And because they're at the bottom they're near the bottom of the standings, and I think the winner of that is going to cement themselves a playoff spot. The other is going to be on life support with the loss.
So, if you were to break down that game, what would we expect?
I opened the wrong tab.
Nice.
Women's 2 instead of women's 1. I think it's going to come down to quarterback play. For Stars, UQTR.
It's a long show, right?
Yeah. Andran Kadare, 19 TDs, 4 INTs. She had experience last year throwing in with Les Flamands Roses a little bit. Saw mediocre success. Coming back a lot stronger, 112 QBR versus last year. I'm still getting work emails. This is insane.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah. Whereas last year she had 106 quarterback rating, so already improving 6 points on that front. Whereas for Ghosted and Willpower, and I talked about this last week, I still feel like they need to find their quarterback, and that Andrea Hevia, it's just not there right just yet. Throwing 1 TD for every INT. That's not a winning
And
success.
completing less than half her passes, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a huge issue in women's where you need to get to half field.
Yeah.
You can't paralyze yourself by giving yourself less downs to work with. in the
Now,
opposition.
maybe they heard us because despite playing Les Bleus and losing to them 40-12, that's Ghosted. They did start Marie-Ève Girard in that game, and she's thrown for the Rock in past co-ed seasons under Alex Laroche. And so they did start her at quarterback. She went 2 TDs, 3 INTs, 125 yards. I mean, you are going against Les Bleus.
But also Andrea Hevia wasn't there.
Oh, okay. So maybe it was just yeah, it's true.
But I do like this is an interesting, I like to make fun of Mo for this all the time because he's old school radio, where the media members take credit for the success of players of like, yeah, maybe they're listening to me and that's why they did the thing.
and that's what
But now, especially this women's division, and you're just mansplaining your way into like, well, I know so much about flag football.
No, I'm
Thank
just
you for listening to me.
It's not what I said. I just said maybe they listen to the show. That's
Maybe.
all.
They should. It's an awesome show. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I know. I had to do you dirty there. So, if this is the NBA trade deadline,
But you didn't.
yeah,
You didn't.
it's the NBA trade deadline. We saw some big moves.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant move into
Yeah.
the Suns, for example.
Yeah.
If you had to make trades to help teams and shake up women's one,
Ooh, Interesting.
Who would be the buyers? Who would be the sellers? And give me a couple names of players you'd like to see moved to another team.
I'll go. I'm gonna go blockbuster here, and I'm gonna put Sarah Parker on the trading block.
Ooh! You're gonna get a call from the Dean of Concordia.
Yeah, I know. Alexis Lavonte
Or
is on my team
the
too.
or the what's it called? The athletic director.
And I'm putting her on Brutes, a trade for Maud Lacasse.
Well, Maud's coming off an injury.
Oh,
She just had surgery on her non-throwing hand.
oh, this is
Um,
news. You have
yes,
breaking news.
sorry.
God damn it! What?
I'm sorry.
Hello, inform the
I
division.
was going to mention it in co-ed. No, so she did she? I don't believe she's throwing for women. I know she wasn't throwing in her co-ed game. She was there coaching up Seth Galina because he requires
He
coaching.
needs the coaching. Yep.
Hard. But the yeah. So she broke her non-throwing hand. It got caught in a helmet,
Oh,
and so she's infuriated because she wants to play because she kind of feels good enough to play because it's her non-throwing hand. But at the same time, she's like, I don't want to risk my actual my tackle season. So, I understand that from her perspective, absolutely. And there's nothing more infuriating as a quarterback than watching your team play without you.
yes.
So yeah, if I look here, they won 36-33 against Vortex, and they did so with beating Vortex with their backup quarterback.
Yeah,
That's impressive. Although Janvier Fortier was throwing for Vortex as well, so a couple of backup quarterbacks
Interesting.
putting up 30+ points, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Man, women's division is wild when it comes to scoring, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome, especially women's one. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, so Maud's on her way back to playing. She's working her way back to playing, so she's just not there yet. But happy that she got the surgery finally. She was waiting on it for quite a while. Happy she's doing well, and she's in good spirits generally. So happy for her and happy to see her on the field soon.
What's your what's your trade? Are you maybe are you going?
Well, I think that was a good call, getting trading an injured player
yeah.
for a healthy one. I had it here.
Are you maybe looking at Fleur de Lis, who
No.
are on the bubble here, at sitting at 2 and 3? Are you looking at a top tier team to add some talent, or what direction are you going?
Since we have a lot of university teams and everything, do you think it's ethical if one university trades for another university player?
You mean if the universities treat athletics as pro sports, especially like in circumstances where they profit off it and make lots of money, like in the NCAA?
That's the one.
Yeah, I think absolutely it's ethical, as long as they compensate the players. No, the player I was going to mention. Thank you for filibustering though, Eagle, as the page loaded. It's not about the team; it's about the player.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if this was like the NBA,
That's the reverse of every football mantra ever, by the way.
I know, but if
Very basketball centric.
Don't forget, I'm an NBA fan first. And so if Emma Racine was
Ooh.
like Kevin Durant, was like a Kyrie Irving, saying, "Listen, get me out of here. I'm not enjoying the spot I'm in. I want to be traded to some place where I'm going to be in a better scenario." I'd love to see Emma Racine move to a team that
A contender.
not even a contender, but a
Oh.
team where she could have more impact on offense, because she's only got 9 catches through
Yeah.
4 games this season.
She is coming off an injury.
She is.
Yeah.
But so
So
that's
is KD.
that's the thing is
I know.
yeah, you have the
I know.
chance to stack your roster with someone as they're getting healthier.
Yeah.
Of course, and this is something where it's not actually going to happen. This is completely hypothetical.
Oh, yeah.
But you mentioned Fleur de Lis, so sure, why not?
I mean, it could. We do offer releases and to teams.
We've actually seen quote unquote trades where a player got released from one team and joined another team, and then a player got released from that team and joined the
Right.
other team involved. But if like Fleur de Lis were to pick up Emma Racine and she becomes a key part of that offense, or stars, like maybe that puts them over the, like they're already scoring a bunch, but now they get this ridiculous two-way talent.
Mm-hmm.
Or do we see her moving to like Vortex and now this team is just a behemoth? You know what I mean?
Maybe there's too many mouths to feed,
too many
though.
mouths to feed, which is the same issue she's in. So get her to a team like Fleur de Lis or Montreal U, which is a defensive team. Yeah, because Montreal U 2-1, only scoring 57 points, but only allowing 58. So
Interesting. Yeah.
add her to a team like that. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. So Emma
Yeah.
Racine to me is the
A
Kevin
moving
Durant.
a moving piece
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
But you got to meet the salaries match. You know,
Yeah.
it's a big
Well, the cap ratings.
cap
gotta
rating.
match.
Yeah, you got to trade for cap ratings.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun. So Brut exacted their revenge. We talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Vortex lost to them every time during regular season last season, and then were triumphant in winning their first FPF final. What can we take from this game, given the fact that neither team was the best version of themselves?
Why do you say that? Why do you say
Because
that?
neither team had their starting quarterback.
I mean, oh wow, oh for Vortex as well.
I said that like 8 seconds ago.
I'm sorry, I
Bruh.
I didn't catch that one. Yeah, were there 8 interceptions, but like
This would have been like Josh Johnson playing against Gardner Minshew.
69 points put up. Yes, you won off a good time. Yeah. And he didn't listen to me.
I heard it.
Yeah, so it's impressive. That said, there was a defensive score on each side
Okay.
with a pick 6 from Rebecca de Carey-Corbet and Virginie Aubout-Ménard.
Yeah.
Now, that's still a lot of points given the pick sixes.
Yes,
And
yeah.
there's also like the complexities of the rules that like you need to, you need to get them in field and all that. So like it does change how the game sort of flows.
Mm-hmm.
But still, 284 yards passing for Sadi Ashraf.
Jeez.
230 yards passing for Janvier Fortier. Like, it's so incredible to me that how well composed these teams are, that as important a position as quarterback is, and as great as their quarterback play is, they're still incredible teams without having them at the helm.
Yeah, I think the two names on both sides. You know what? Catherine Girard was one of the two-way dominant players in the Fall Cup for Vortex. This year, having a bit of a slower season. Her and Virginie Aubout-Ménard, like you mentioned, one with the pick 6. Now, with adding a piece like Tamara Journeau, which Marie-Laure Chaput had mentioned is one of the players that has played with the Northern Braves or the North. So the team that gets sent to the flag tournaments. So adding a stud like that, and it shows on the stats, right? Going 8 for 8 with her 100% target reception ratio, 93 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think adding a piece like that, Sarah Cormier in this game, another 100% target ratio, 8 for 8 as well, 78 yards and a TD. So those two pieces offensively were huge for Vortex. And when you can have that depth of Virginie and Catherine.
And we're not even mentioning Sarah Cormier.
Yeah.
Who's amazing.
Yeah.
She should talk to her agent and say,
Yeah.
get me off this team. I need more targets. Joking, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sarah Cormier is amazing. And like,
Yeah.
she wasn't even a breath in your sentence because of how loaded Vortex is.
Exactly.
And nothing to do with her. Nothing to do with her lack of ability or ability. Like,
Yeah.
it's just that's how ridiculous this team is.
Yeah.
Right.
So with those two, Tamara and Sarah, combining for 4 TDs. On the other side, on that flip side for Brutes, they matched their two-headed monster was Laurence Pontbriand, of course, Grand 2.0, and Rebecca de Carey-Corbet with 1 offensive touchdown, 1 defensive touchdown. Her two going 8 for 8. So there was. These girls were not dropping balls. They were securing first downs, securing big yards and touchdowns, and that was a bit
helping out their backup quarterbacks.
Yeah,
basically,
yeah,
right? So-
exactly. Like when especially on first down, you get a drop, and now the play to midfield seems so much larger when you're not faced with that situation, and your girls are gaining 8-9 yards on first down. It's a big relief for the backup quarterbacks. So that was a bit of the story of this game here.
In the women's 2, were Cara Babes and Lynxette miscast, do you think? Should they have been in women's 1? And how do you think they'd fare?
I think they would have a tough time. I think both of these.
That's why we need 3 women's divisions, right? Like,
Yeah. I I mean, that's 14 in women's too is big for the first time for there to be a second division, to already be filled up at 14. That's quite impressive.
It does feel like women's 1 is the university teams and women's 2 is CJEP and ex-CJEP.
Right. Or free agent. Just
There's a lot of the CJEP teams here, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of the
yeah.
or CJEP teams like Red Nation, right? So, but honestly, Caribbean and Linkset, like, it's almost as if because they've played less games, we've just not noticed how good they've been, but they've been exceptional.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it last week with Will, which you caught that a bit of that show, or all of it actually. You were
It's my job.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, you were kind of forced into it. I think Linkset would. I think both of those teams would. And it's not disparaging these teams, but they would have like a 3-7 record, all but likely, right?
Yeah.
They would be the current ghosted team that's in.
But I see them
one.
as a touch better than a team like Ghosted.
Sure,
Like Constance Milan, for example, is massive.
Oh, of
right?
course.
She's a huge piece for a team on Linkset. And then Caribbean, I was impressed by them the first time I saw them. I was like, whoa, this is women's 2. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know,
but again, a 3-7, 4-6 record is not bad in FPF.
No.
Like you're playing tough teams.
I was thinking about this. So, does every team go into a season with the expectation we're going to be competing for a championship? Or do some teams say, listen, building blocks are important. Like, if we get to a 500 record for us is a big win, and it gives something to build on for a future season.
I don't think if your first season ever in FPF, you're thinking either thing. I don't think you're thinking that you're gonna win a championship. You would like to.
I know every time I move up in division, for me it's like, let me see how I fare. It's not like I'm expecting to win.
But that's because it's not your first year.
Yeah.
And you're also thinking 500 is not a good record when it actually is.
Yeah.
But yes, once you play a second, third season,
because someone needs to go 500.
Yes.
You know, like I find less and less when you look around at the other competition, do you say like, oh, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win. Like, teams are pretty
50.
clustered together.
Yeah.
Now, women's, because there's not that many divisions, there are teams at the bottom that are just weaker than the top end of the division, right?
But Peace, kind of to your point, though, because a lot of these teams are either university, CJEP high school teams, these aren't necessarily, we're coming in to win a championship. It's we're coming in to get reps, we're coming in to work on our playbook, to get into shape for the upcoming season. Like, that kind of comes into play in terms of, why teams would potentially register here. And we've seen a lot of that, actually. Like, that's kind of how the women's division started, right? It was, hey, we want a field where we can basically run our own little mini tournaments between teams.
But that's the thing that I find special about the women's playoffs is the competition immediately takes over.
Yes.
Where it's like, now we want to win. Like, now.
Well, since
there's
we're here,
there's a championship, let's go win this.
Yeah.
And like, as competitive as they are in the regular season, it's a whole other level in the playoffs and finals.
It
in
really
a way
was,
that I don't even think the men's league is. Like, it's that next level where it's like, we can beat them in our season, but now we can beat them before we even get to our season. Like, it's the coolest. It's one of the coolest experiences in FPF.
Yeah, for sure. You were calling the women's final, and
I had
felt
so much fun.
It was palpitating. Like, the energy was there. Right?
I was sweating by the end.
I
didn't run a single step. I never do. But
just imagine the psychological warfare when you play your first game in like the university season and be like, that's the team we beat in the finals, and we have it on film, right?
Yeah. You can watch it over and over and over to psych yourself up for the next when you actually play them.
Right. Yeah.
It's cool. It's just some of the coolest things. Red Nation beat Dream Killers 41-0. Is this the turning point for Red Nation? Rasha Valier 2 pick sixes in this one.
Oh, back to form.
Yeah. As one does.
Yes. It's why not? Why not 2 pick sixes every game? Is this their turnaround? I don't think so. Dream Killers, now sitting at 0-4, have only scored 26 points, have led up 111. I mean, 40, putting up 41. We've seen this script before, though. We've seen the Red Nation put up the points to then come out the next week and put up 6, 10. well, 10's a bit of a weird weird score, but
happens.
12. I need it on a consistent basis from Red Nation. It's just until they can rattle off. I want to see 3 or 4 games of 30 plus points. No more of this six getting shut out, 6 points, unable to move the ball. So for me, I need a bit more consistency from them. Now look, they scored 33 against Extreme Bullets, put up 41 against Dream Killers. Those 2 teams are 0-8.
But they did what they're supposed to do.
Yes.
They're supposed to beat these teams badly.
Yes.
So
do it now. So it's not a turning point for me yet. Do it against Cavaliers. That would be high expectations to do it.
But like Cavaliers have been sort of middle of the pack, right? So like
They're 3-1.
oh yeah, that's true. They did win.
Yeah, they won their last game.
I thought they were. Yeah, my bad. I thought they lost the Wildcats as well.
Now, I think it'll be a competitive game. Red Nation has now a lot more experience playing FPF 3rd, 4th season already. So I don't think it's a blowout either way from either team. But I want them to be in a close game that's 30-24 for them. And I feel like when the game is close, it's gonna be 21-21 instead of 30-21 for Red Nation. Take that 9.2 possession lead. I want to see it. I'm rooting for them.
Yeah, like having them control an entire game.
Yes.
Instead of having to rely on like a turnover.
Yeah.
And against competition that's more at their level. Basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that as well. Which of the middle of the pack teams do you think, we're talking about some of them, which of them do you think, if not Red Nation, which of the ones do you think will rise up to be in the top half of the table come the second half of the season?
So you didn't listen to the show last week.
I don't remember everything. It's 3 hours, guy.
I know.
Has it changed then? I don't know.
Now, look, the middle of the pack teams.
I actually thought you did that for women's one. My mistake.
Yeah, sure. It's okay. Look, the middle of the pack teams have slightly changed. I still like Wolfpack here. Wolfpack just won their game on they had a bye week, so it wasn't their last game. But I mentioned it last week, and I still think it's true. Kadian Auger is their quarterback, the quarterback for Blue Wave in the co-ed season in the spring.
You and I have been big on her from
day
one.
Yeah. So, and she's probably no longer leading the quarterbacks in statistics. Just pulling that up right now. Yeah, not anymore. But she is still second in yardage, second in TDs, and that's despite not having played a game since the 29th of January. Does have she's in the top 3 in QBR. The other 2 quarterbacks have only played 1 or 2 games. So to me, the pivot position so important, and Wolfpack have that. They dropped 2 games, but they have won their last 2. So I think they can snowball those wins. They have Le Petit Miette. I think that's a win. Wildcats will be another team that's in that 2-2 position, middle of the pack. That should be an interesting game to watch out for on March 6th. Their true test will be Linkset amongst the remaining games in their schedule.
For me, it's Wildcats.
Okay.
I like a lot what Catherine Bolduc has done. She's scoring. The team's put up 139 points in 5 games.
Yeah.
They again take care of business against weaker teams. There's some questionable games, like they lost to Steelers, they lost to Cavaliers. I thought I was like, okay, well they'll probably beat Cavaliers. I thought they were a notch up, but I was wrong. But I just feel like they're so close to figuring it out, and I think they'll get there. You have Sandra Clément with 5 touchdowns, Josiane Martin, who's excellent, with 5 touchdowns.
She was on Free Smoke in co-ed.
That's where I know her from.
Yeah,
she caught a game winner against us.
Yes.
And Joanie Cloutier with 4 touchdowns. So like, there's so many weapons on the team.
Yeah.
the quarterback play is good. The defense has been solid. Like, they're not allowing a ton of points. There's just been 2 games, the game against Steelers where they only scored 18 and the game against Cavaliers where they only scored 18. So I think if those 2 games where the offense is just what they are normally, those are 2 W's. And this is a team that instead of 2 and 3 can easily be 5 and 1.
And we didn't even talk about defensively.
And they held Lynx at 24 points.
Right. 16 interceptions.
Yeah, nonsense.
That's insane. That's huge in the women's division, right? Getting that better field position where as if you turn the ball over on 4th down, you get it on your own 5. They're forcing 16 times where they're probably getting better field position than better starting field position. Having a lot of drives starting in plus territory, that should set up the offense for more success. If the defense continues that way, I see why you would pick Wildcats for sure.
What could have been? They reached out for some quarterback coaching.
Yeah.
In Division 5B.
Yeah.
So what advice can we give them quickly?
I'll be starting for what could have been in Division 5B. Because I can throw in Division 5 now.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's not quarterback help.
Well,
You're not
hold
helping
on.
them at all.
Well, hold on. So there's a bit of a deal here. So this is breaking news for Division 5B.
You could have told us, ass.
Division 5B. So their quarterback Sean Brown's has ups and downs. Mostly ups in Division 6 when he started in winter 2020. I believe was like close to 50 touchdowns.
Yeah, they were super exciting. When they broke onto the scene.
And look, he's still not having a bad season. He's just finding it a bit tougher now in Division 5. He's someone like Peace. We're those types of quarterbacks. We're hard on ourselves. This guy's hard on himself apparently. While I'll be going in to play some of these games or at least be playoff eligible, I'll be instructing him on what works in FPF. Bring him into the family tree of the playbooks and zone beaters and whatnot.
The Harpersod, Peas, and Iggy family tree.
And there's a game I'll miss, and he doesn't want to completely abandon being a quarterback for this team.
Well, because the only way you get better is with reps.
Exactly. So, it'll be the question of going in for a couple of games, having him in the huddle still. He still wants to be on the team. He's not just completely scrapping, the team and whatnot. So to be in a huddle, because one of the things, actually, I spoke a lot with Adam Leroy of the team. And one of the things is the quarterback's not calling the plays in the huddle.
That's ridiculous.
It can't be. I'm like, he's like, wait. It sounds like you're calling the plays. He's like, yeah, I'm calling the plays in the huddle. Adam Leroy, the receiver. And I'm like, nah, dude. Like, I appreciate it. He's like, yeah, I just have the more knowledge. And not that Sean Brown hasn't, he's quarterbacked, and played tackle and whatnot. So he clearly knows how to, but maybe he doesn't know the flag concept. So like, I'll be when we're on defense, like when we're both on the sideline, let's say I'll coach him up on what I saw and like what works in FPF and whatnot.
Go ahead. I have a question to ask you.
Yeah.
Because it's advice for Sean Brown.
Right.
But go ahead, finish your point.
Yeah. And then there's a game I'm missing because I'm already playing a game, and so hopefully he can take some of that knowledge and being in the huddle and seeing what works and whatnot.
You shouldn't be throwing in 5B, first of all. No.
I know.
Like we said in the Division 6 portion of the show, it's not breaking any rules.
Yeah.
It's disingenuous.
Now, baby, there's killer rays. There are tougher competition.
You're going to be the best quarterback in Division 5. 5B. I think you're the best quarterback in Division 5, period. 5B, it's a lot. But anyways, I digress.
I do want to address somewhat of what you just mentioned here, in that if you're a quarterback and you're not calling your own plays, I think you need to seriously sit down and study the playbook your team is using, and you be able to understand when to use which plays and be able to call it yourself. Because if someone else is giving you a playbook and saying, run this, you don't understand the concept. You don't understand the
You don't understand what you're looking at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you need to know, okay, you're not looking at your receivers and where they're running their routes. You're looking at the defensive call and understanding based on that defense, here in my playbook is where the guys are going to be open. So you're reading off of that and not off of the receiver.
Correct.
So much of FPF is manipulating space.
Yeah.
It's how do I create a scenario where this area is
Gets
open?
or an area.
Yeah.
Let the defense
So yeah,
decide.
I
where
want
the
I
ball
want to
goes.
attack one of 3 areas. The
Yeah.
defense will only be able to cover 2.
Yeah.
Which one can I hit?
Yes.
And that's what he has to learn. Now, the question is going to put you in a bad spot.
Yes.
But also, and
I'm ready. I'm
but
ready.
I'll
for
also
it.
put myself in a bad spot because I'll divulge a secret about myself, and I'll see if Eagles willing to answer this too. When receivers come back to you and suggest a play
Yeah.
or tell you I'm open on this route,
Yeah.
what do you say to blow them off? Because we all do it.
No, you do it. I
Oh,
actually.
please. Come on.
Yeah. The classic is we'll use it later. in
We'll
the
use it
game.
later. It's fine. Oh yeah, I'll come to it later. Which sometimes I do, by the way.
Yes. Yeah.
But-
yeah.
I rarely have one play in mind. I usually have like a sequence of plays. Like I know I want to do this, and if they run this, I'll do this. If they run this, I'll run this. And stuff.
Right. Now, you said 2 different things though, because I welcome the feedback.
Oh no, I'm not saying I don't.
Because
welcome
one
the
thing is the feedback, and the other thing is, like,
It's calling
you're
a play for yourself so that you get the ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
But another thing is, and especially if like a team's playing a lot of man, I want someone to come up to me and be like, "I'm gonna beat them on this route." So okay, it's a post. Perfect.
Yeah,
so I'll
on
do a post wheel, and I'll run concepts that work around that route. But
So against man, sure, because again, like you know, you have a matchup, and most guys will be honest, like I'm not beating my guy, or
Yes.
I'm beating my guy.
I like you need to be honest in that situation.
There
Like,
are some guys who aren't honest. I
But
beat
it's
my guy. I beat my
yeah,
guy.
I know,
After
yeah.
I threw to the other side of the field, you were
Yeah.
wide open, 100%.
Yeah.
But answer my question. What's your go-to to blow off a receiver?
I actually it hasn't come up. Like my receivers are pretty
I
good.
mean,
for
I'm not a
that.
quarterback, so I can't really answer the question.
But defensively, when someone says we should do this,
I say okay, and then I call whatever I want.
Yeah.
Or
see,
sometimes,
at least Eagles honest.
but it also
Much
depends.
like Liam Neeson, I need you to be the honest thief.
I actually I'm telling you, my receivers don't tell me they want the ball like that.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you the experience.
This look of
that.
incredulity is brought to you
Not
by
a word.
Sportira.
Not a word.
Incredulity is a word.
Incredulity.
Incredulity.
Eagle.
It's a word.
Search.
How do you pronounce incredulity?
Incredulous though.
Yeah.
The
As an
verb.
adjective.
That's
Uh,
an
now,
adjective.
now use it as an adjective.
Mm. Okay.
This
Fine,
Look, this look
okay.
of incredulity is brought to you by Sportira. Get your jerseys.
Yeah.
Cunning
Cunning
stunts.
stunts. Well done.
So yeah, I think first of all,
Incredulity.
No, there was no J in there.
there's no J. It's like
Or
a
G.
soft. Yeah.
Anyways, to wrap up though, what could have been
Incredulity.
if Sean Brown wants
Iggy,
the
we can all learn something today.
Incredulity.
do
Incredulity.
But it's not
even the mouth.
Incredulity.
incredulity.
You want to practice, Iggy? Here we go.
No. Last thing. So like, there's
Fair practice.
the understanding that
Incredulity.
if Sean Brown wants the quarterback position come playoff time, it's all his.
You can just stop
So-
for a second. Didn't work because of you.
Because, like, here's the thing. How would you describe my expression about Iggy giving up the quarterback position after playing it? What kind of look is it? It's a look of
Despair.
no.
Incredulity.
Yeah. How do you forget the joke that we set up?
I don't know. I just wanted to make more fun of him.
It's the thing we're doing. We are making fun of him. Yeah. So, I would say, because Eagle, you said like you should really need to study plays. I would go one step further. Throw out those plays. These plays work. Iggy's gonna give you some plays. They work. Run them. Learn how they work, and then from that point you can then build plays, because concepts might work in touch, might work on 7-on-7, might work in tackle. This is a very specific game. FPF has very specific rules. Other flag leagues don't even have our rules.
Yeah.
So, they're based around the exploits that work in FPF. Iggy will teach you. You'll get a lot better, I promise.
And the team's littered with athletes and like really good
Yeah,
receivers.
I remember
and
that.
DBs. Yeah.
I remember that.
So like he's I like the sky's the limit with him, and they were already killing Div 6, and he needs to combined with playbook and play calling. to teach FPF management, game management too. It might be a lot. That's why you can't just have a conversation. It needs 5 weeks worth of.
So like let's say like when we start talking about this, right? You and I, when you asked me for help originally, like it was learning. Not just again, it's not about the plays. It's learning the way these plays work in FPF, right? So you learn that, and then we talked about the next step, which is protecting the ball, living for another down, considering FPF as a 4-down league.
Yeah.
Then there's game. So that's like drive management.
Yes.
Then there's game management. So like we literally would spend hours talking about this, and it was literally like going to class. Like it was like. This is the first part of the curriculum. This is the second part of the curriculum. This is the third. Now, I by trade, I'm an educator, so maybe that's why I teach the game this way. But like it works, right? Like it's an effective approach.
Crazy,
but also build plays that play to the strength of your
Yes.
team, right? If you have receivers that win one-on-ones and you can throw that precision ball, do that, right? If you want to have your man
But here's the
beaters and
thing,
everything,
is if you
want to
could
have your
create a
zone package.
If you could create a situation where you have wide open receivers,
Yes.
why wouldn't you take that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you take it?
Because some people like winning the hard way.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
I don't want to win. I want to be the reason we win.
Well done. And you know what? One of you just said it. Like, why make it hard on yourselves? Man, they what could have been made it look so hard against Bulldogs. It was like 14-6 for the longest time. The score in that game that was behind me. I wasn't scorekeeping that one.
I mean, their next 3 games are Red Dragons, Primetime Green Monsters. Those aren't gimmies.
No.
Well, but they have a really good quarterback now. So there's that. Of the middle of the pack teams, who do you think can break free and go on a playoff run? Like Bulldogs, like you talked about, or Team Sexy, you, Pocket Rockets, Primetime. I'm a big Primetime fan.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ethan Adrian is the most disruptive force I've seen at Rusher in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, like I tend to lean Primetime. Plus, we've seen them play in a final recently.
True.
In this division.
Yep.
So I mean, it wouldn't be surprising to me.
Was it 5? It was 6.
Was it 6?
It was 6,
thought it was
but not
5B.
6D.
Oh, okay.
It was 6.
My mistake.
Yeah, but still,
It's relevant.
Just the notch above, and going to a final means something, right? I would have to go. I'm between 3. I like Primetime as well. So, but you went with them. I would have picked them as well, perhaps, but I'm between Bulldogs, Team Sexy, and you. You, I wrote in my article, they're getting better, but there's still something left for there's more QB development for Pranav Sharma left. Elandre Abbey is one of their stud receivers now. He was featured early on in our Instagram posts of him putting defenders and skating on ice and all that down in Lachine. Between Team Sexy though and Bulldogs, Team Sexy have the monster, the Greek freak Sam Anastopoulos, whereas Bulldogs are a bit more of a well-rounded team with the higher experience of Daniel Goloff on the team. He's kind of teaching. Is it Jordan Schwartz? It's been a while since Jordan Schwartz has thrown.
I was gonna say it's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah. So he's making a comeback. Again, he's only putting up about 14, 18, so 2 to 3 touchdowns. I'd like to see more from him, but I mean that's why they're middle of the pack teams, right? So my answer would have been Primetime. You went with them. I'll go with if I had to pick one. Give me Team Sexy. Give me Team Sexy.
I like them a lot in terms of just the swagger and raw ability. They're just a team that really they just need to get it, and once they get it, they can be really good.
Yeah.
And then next year they can be Team Sexy back.
It's true. They can bring Sexy back.
They were Team Sexy last year. They should have been Team Sexy back this year.
And then next time it's Future Sex.
Nice. You're going JT here a lot.
And with regards to you, as you mentioned before, they had a game against Primetime recently.
Mm-hmm.
They had 6 plays to win the game.
Okay.
And that's the thing with experience, where it's like, I always say, give me exactly that. Give me 6 plays.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's
that's
the
a
ideal
prime
amount.
position.
Yeah.
in a football game.
It means you should have 3 shots at the end zone.
Yeah.
And so that's just a thing they're gonna have to learn. Again, the game management portion of playing the game is,
It's a third of the game.
but it's also it's not as intuitive,
No,
and
you need
it takes focus while you're playing.
how many games of FPF experience do you need under your belt before you understand drive management and game management?
It took me a long time. It took me too
takes
long. It took
a long
It took
time.
me a worldwide pandemic shutting the world down so I could sit and think. Literally, I was sitting in my yard with nothing to do. I mowed the lawn, and I was like, "All right, well now I got 6 hours." And I started thinking about a lot of these concepts, and it literally took me that, but because I'm not a very smart person, and I'm very hard headed, and so that's where it led us.
I think it takes 3 to 4 seasons to start being good at, and now I'm talking a bit more at quarterback, understanding what it takes 3 seasons to understand what works in FPF. It takes, I think, 5 to 6 seasons.
5, 6 total, right? Like from the beginning.
Yes. Yeah.
Not an additional 5 and 6.
No. Yeah, from the beginning, it takes total 5 to 6 to understand drive management, and then I think it takes like the 7th season to understand like game management, because at that point you've now played about at least 70 regular season games, and your experience of, hey, I've been in that situation before is and I've been in that situation 2 or 3 times already. I know what to do this time.
And now timeouts and onside kicks factor into it even more in terms of
Getting
game
teams to take timeouts so that they can't use an onside kick is
Yeah.
also part of it.
Yeah.
Which Iggy and I have discussed
Yeah.
ad nauseum.
Yeah.
But it's you learn quicker than I do apparently.
Oh no, but this is like minimum. This is like minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum. The bare minimum.
One thing that helps: talk to people who play higher divisions.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much I learned by just listening to Steve Harpersod and Dan Lazara and Kevin Wyeth. And yeah, they're really good. They have information. Use that information.
Yeah, and FPF.
Kevin Lubin, my early days, for example.
I think where you're going with that is the community is very open armed into giving feedback and information,
Especially like as you move up, because like a lot of new teams they don't really know each other.
They don't even know.
They're weirdly
Yeah.
combative when they start playing. Like
Yes,
and like
yes.
FPF in the higher divisions, even teams that have rivalries on the field usually are friends off the field.
Yes,
So
yeah, because you've played with someone. I'm at that point now where it's like, oh, we've played before, like against Sheriff, right? I'm playing with Alex Noel. I'm playing with Louis Bégin. I played with Kareem. I faced off against Médéric Lezon like once. Like I knew half the team on the other side, So like, yeah, I absolutely what you're saying. Yeah, in the lower divisions, you're not as open. You don't even know what the right questions to ask. Sometimes. Anyways, all to say, like it takes a good 100 games under your belt before like you start getting, like I've been in this situation before. I already know what to do, because some situations don't come up very often.
agreed.
So, yeah.
Agreed. Speaking of which, Rico Riders had an onside kick brain fart, onside attempt. Someone messaged me like, "How can there be onside kicks? There's no kicking in FPF." I was
Who
like,
said that?
I don't remember, and I don't want to do them dirty. It was a low division team,
Yeah.
but I was like, well, it's an onside attempt.
Onside, actually, on the scorekeeping app, it's an onside pass
Okay, there you go.
and an onside run.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Well, it is, but either way, it's an attempt. It's an
Yeah,
attempt
yeah,
at
yeah.
onside.
Yeah.
So someone explain the situation here. What happened?
Yeah, Iggy.
So I believe they're down 2 possessions. Rico Riders with 5 plays remaining score a touchdown.
Who have some experienced FPF players on the team,
Yeah,
like Darren.
McDazian,
McDazian,
Justin
I was gonna say
Lerner.
Basmajan Eagle.
Wrong
Darren.
Wrong Darren. Score a touchdown to make it a 1 possession game.
How many plays left?
5 or 4. I want to say 5. But it was the field behind me, so I wasn't scorekeeping the game, but it was something like that. They were within the 5 plays. Ref, this wasn't clear to me. I don't know if the ref at the beginning of the game said, "Do you know all the rules?" and they said, "Yeah, we know all the rules or all the new rules," or if he asked them right after scoring the TD, "Do you know all the rules?" and they said, "Yeah, we do." All to say is that they went for one, scored the 1-point convert, and then looked to the ref and said, "Okay, we're going for the onside kick now." Ref's like, "What do you mean? You just went for 1 point. You can't go for the onside kick. It's now after your touchdown. You go for one, you go for two, or you go for the onside kick."
You forfeit the extra point.
Right. So it must have been 4 plays because the game was over when the next possession went to their opposition. With 4 plays remaining and on their own 10, game was waived, and that was it. Game over.
Yeah.
So yeah, they had a brain fart moment, and I don't know. I saw like 4 or 5 guys come up at the end of the game, like to the ref and just talking about what happened.
So I'm of two minds.
Yeah.
You should know the rules. At the same time, when there's a big rule change like this, I know it's halfway through the season.
Yep.
But I think the referee should stipulate what the rule is for something that you might not encounter every week.
I think you're phrasing that wrong. I don't think they should stipulate what the rule is, but they should, at that point in the game, guys, you scored your touchdown. Are you going for 1, for 2, or the onside kick?
Yeah. Fair.
Not stipulate, but just like that. And say, "Oh, right. Onside kick, I have to decide now." Yes.
And going back to our point from before, right? The whole game management aspect. The referees aren't here to manage your game for you.
Exactly.
But this is one of those situations where, given that it's a brand new rule and you're effectively losing the game by selecting to go for an extra point, because that's what it turns into, given number of plays left in the game.
Yeah.
It's one of those situations where kind of the ref can be like, "You sure? Like, that's your choice? Really? Because, like, here's what's going to happen," type of thing. Like, game's over after this, right?
No, no. I don't. I disagreed with Pease. I'm disagreeing with you now.
Well, you can be wrong twice. It's okay.
Yeah. The
3 times.
The right
Real time.
answer is because the ref presenting, "Guys, you want to go for 1 or 2," is wrong. Those are not the options.
That's true.
Ever at any point in the game, unless you don't have your timeouts anymore. The option always now should be, "Guys, you're going to go for 1, for 2, or the onside." It should be now part of the new ref lingo.
I agree.
It should always be
Because like
go for
already-
1, 2, or onside.
in the ref argument of like we don't want to quote unquote baby our players, which we're babying our refs
But
by
you're
not
already
letting them jump.
asking
You're already
what-
asking exactly. Like if you're asking 1 or 2, what's the difference 1, 2, or onside kick?
Yeah.
Because the team should know that they have the option to go for 2.
There you go.
So I don't see that
Because
as an
refs get mad when and rightfully so when teams don't give them an answer to their question. "Well, you want to go for 1 or 2?" Well, just you're not giving me the full options at that point. So
Yeah. Are ballers false kings?
Yes, I analyzed it. I crunched the numbers.
Let's get it.
I
Give me the numbers.
I crunched them. That
But
means
you didn't
in,
prepare it for
in,
the
in
show.
the passe. In my article, I wrote it. I questioned it. I'm like, ballers are balling, but are they for real? Look, they're the record. Oh, that's why I'm in the wrong division. I'm like scrolling up and down. I'm still in 5B.
That changed. See,
4
seamless transition.
Yeah. They're 4-0. They're top of Group A.
They have beaten
Yes.
Buffalo Wild Wings by a point, Clinkers by 17, Speakeasy by a lot, and Practice Squad by 7.
So Clinkers at 1-3. Next, Buffalo Wild
BWW.
Wings. Yeah. Buffalo Wild Wings 1-2. So 2-5 record.
Speakeasy,
Speakeasy are 0-3. So 2-8.
Practice Squad.
Practice Squad 1-3-1. So 3-11-1 are the combined records of their opponents. Look, they've
Do we want
done
to explain what false kings are?
maybe
Now, subtract the 4 wins. They're actually 3-7-1. Because you can't
Still,
count the same
yeah,
losses against themselves.
the way you normally do it, which it's not great.
No, it's still a losing record.
False Kings means you're, and if you would go to the standings page, Eagle, means you're atop of the standings, like Ballers are at 4-0 with 125 points for and 62 points.
But you haven't played
against.
anyone.
It looks impressive, right?
Yeah.
Plus 63. They're wiping clean their oppositions. They're top of their division. But when you crunch the numbers like we just did, you really see that they've been playing the Speakeasy, which is at number 10, currently on the outside looking in of the playoff spot. Buffalo Wild Wings and Clinkers, which are at middle of the pack right now, but still have only one win each. And then I forgot who. No, those were the three teams. There was four. Anyways, so False Kings, you look great, but when you really break down your schedule, you're just beating up on practice squad. Sorry. When you look at it, you're not really beating any teams of quality.
Yeah. And they do face eventually. Well, they face Him University, who athletically match up.
Yeah.
In their next game on the 20th. They do face a red. Somebody said not skins.
Yep. I think the last three games of their schedule really will tell the story, and I think Him University they haven't been great either. They've been kind of middle of the pack. They're 1-4.
Oh, okay, I thought
They're in the 9th slot right now.
So yeah, but if everyone's there,
yeah,
that's at least an athletic team that can give them.
Like I just said, I'm more interested in their last three games of the season, and it's interesting because they'll play Red Knot Skins, they'll play Ice Up, and they'll play No Friend Zone. Those are the last three games before, because this is going to be a playoff team, right? They're probably going to be 6-1, potentially 7-0 going into those last three games. They're good tune-up games for the playoffs for them, right? Like, are you?
What do we think then if let's say they go 7-3 and they lose those last three games into the playoffs?
It depends on the outcome of those games. Not the outcome, but the game script of those games, right? If it's if they lose all three games but lose by a combined 4 points, I think they're okay. They'll be all right, you know? But if they're getting blown out and have a negative 68 point differential, then I'll be more worried for Ballers. And then we can claim them False Kings in Division 5A.
Can Glory Boys go on a win streak now that they broke the ice with a win over Buffalo Wild Wings?
I think so. I think it's their time. I was gonna do that, you bastard. So So the audio audience, Pizza's just left. Now, Pizza's left to go to the washroom. What's worse about this is that I have to go to the washroom. So I'm not only watching him walk away and being left alone on set, which is fine. I have now the fact that that knowledge that he's getting to release himself, and I have yet to do so. So, Eagle, we'll have to talk about Glory Boys, you and I, if you could please.
I think what would be funnier is if you talk about Glory Boys, and then when Peace come back, he talks about Glory Boys, and you guys talk about it independently.
That would actually be kind of funny, but
so do it.
But yes, but I'll talk with you, and then you'll have a discussion with Pease about it. So Glory Boys, that was a huge win that they got against Buffalo Wild Wings. Going 0-4 would have been, while they could have still made the playoffs at 0-4, winning 2 or 3 games of their remaining schedule, it would have just been. It's a team that would have damaged their psyche the rest of the season, and it could have imploded this team. The team's loaded with talent. They now have FPF experience. I think it could have trended in the wrong way. So getting this win, not just for the win itself, but preventing an internal implosion and getting Michael Hyotis back on the winning side of things. Because, man, 9 TDs, 7 INTs, those are not Michael Hyotis like numbers. They're now playing in a tougher division, 5A. Division D wasn't easy, and they had a good record. But his play needed to be better, and it was against Buffalo Wild Wings. And because the schedule doesn't get any easier for them, right? Big Fat Bats, they're 5-0. No Friend Zone, they're 4-1. Red Knot Skins, 3-0. Like, we talked about False Kings. This is the reverse of False Kings, right?
Well, I mean, like, we talked about the Glory Boys on previous seasons where, you know, we didn't necessarily trust Hyotis at the pivot position to actually help this team out, right? They relied almost entirely on just one-on-one matchups that they won because they were the better athlete, and then that worked successfully in with the Division 6 way back when, or Fall Cup. I can't remember anymore.
Division 6, and then in the spring season, they were one win away from going to the finals, losing to Dirty Dogs.
Yeah, and then so now obviously they're back, but in a more tough division where you're just pure athleticism and proficiency, and I'll call it like the jump balls or, you know, however the ball is delivered to you, doesn't carry you the There's a lot of people that are going to understand that's what you're playing to your strength, and so figure that out. So in that sense, I feel like their success early on has actually been a detriment to their growth moving forward here. Pease, we're talking about Hyotis as a quarterback and the Glory Boys roster, and about how this season it will be a challenge for them to have to improve in order to beat some of these teams.
Yeah, it's like a challenge, like learning how cameras work. For example, Iggy could have gone around the other way and not been seen getting off screen on camera, but
Challenge.
Honestly, I like Michael Hyotis early on. His ability to throw off platform is really, really good. I kind of agree that things came a little too easily for them early on. So it is cool to see them have to push through a little bit. They beat Buffalo Wild Wings, who, despite the fact that they're struggling, they are an experienced Division 5 team. So that is it's a good sign. But then they have a disgusting... I don't think they win another game. Did you guys do that already?
Nope, not yet.
So check this out, Eagle. Big Fat Bats, No Friend Zone, Red Knotskins, The Process, the Petit Carotte, and then Backwoods Football Club. Like, Backwoods is the only game they might win, and even then, Backwoods is not bad.
So then, if you were to be the coach of Glory Boys, right, and we know they're a very passionate team and everything, how would you want to set the expectations for these games? Like, are you going for wins, or are you going for development?
All right, so we talked about this, right? We talked about how does every team go into a season expecting a championship, right?
Right, but I think now when we're looking at it, like, okay, you've gotten to this point in the season. Obviously, you haven't done well, right? You're 1-3, and your upcoming games are much harder. I think the aspiration of winning the championship still possible, but there's no such thing as tanking, right? There's no Connor Bedard you're drafting in this league, but what is the equivalent of we have 7 games left? What do we want to do?
Here's what the equivalent is maybe we can sneak into the playoffs if we win 3 or 4 games. And so let's have good showings. Let's at least be in the game, be in position to win the games. And then if we get to the playoffs, maybe we have a favorable schedule, like matchups that play to our favor. Like a team like Buffalo Wild Wings, we're more athletic than they are, and we can win that way. But like,
you can also use some of those games to work on some of the things you're struggling with, right? So by the time you get to playoffs, you're a much more well-rounded team. Like let's say, your short game isn't working well. Okay, maybe work on that. Maybe your zone coverage or your man coverage isn't doing well. Okay, so you work on that a little bit, and maybe take your chops in some of the games that you don't do well at the beginning to try and figure that out. But near the end of the season, you get those wins, you get that experience, and now you're a little bit stronger going into that playoff run.
The run and gun style of Michael Hyotis plays worked well in Division 6. I think he needs to run higher efficiency plays. And like, okay, if you take a shot on first down and it doesn't work, and then you try to run on second down, and maybe you get a gain of 2 yards. Like, he's a great runner, but let's say in this scenario, you now have 2 downs to get 8 yards, right? Whereas, like, you take a shot on first down, but now you get 5 yards by completing a hook or a slant on second down, right? So now it's 3rd and 5, Eagle. And now as a defense, you have to defend, and I'm referring to you specifically here because you call it defense. You now have to defend a mobile quarterback on relatively short yardage who has 2 downs to get 5 yards. He can run on either down. He could still attack deep because if he sees everyone crashing the first down marker, he can still attack deep, or he could just get the first down and sustain the drive. But at the moment, he's completing 42.7% of his passes. His yards per pass, 12.5 yards per pass. That's great, sure. It's awesome. But the problem is that it appears to me, without having been at all their games, obviously, that it's low efficiency plays. He's relying too much on athleticism. Whereas if you make the game more manageable, some of the stuff Iggy and I were talking about when we're talking about this division is managing the drives and learning that FPF is a 4 down league, and learning that you need to put yourself in a position to have makeable 3rd and 4th downs. Iggy, the Rainmakers have been crippled by injuries and roster inconsistencies. How do you think they can manage that at this point in the season?
How they can manage the
Issues
roster.
with roster inconsistencies and injuries. How do you think they can sort of refocus and redraw expectations for the second half of the season?
I don't know if it's redesigning the playbook. We can talk about that one and your thoughts of playbook redesign.
Well, is the playbook the problem, though? I mean, they put up 27 against Pacemakers. That was a close game, right? I mean, that's, in a way, Ryan Kastner getting back into his previous
we'll
form
talk a little bit
to
about
some
Pacemakers,
degree.
too, because there's an issue with Pacemakers, which is bizarre. But yeah.
Like, at least I was going to say, like, yeah, even if you're injury prone, that's the best showing that Kastner's had all season.
Yeah.
Completion percentage is not great, but score is respectable, right? Considering the next closest game was at 19 against Monster a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they've been putting up 1 or 2 scores a game. So there's a little bit of, I guess, optimism on the roster at this point in time. But yeah, if the injuries are adding up and you have to bring in ringers every week, that's going to be a problem.
Well, maybe ringers in Andrew Carruthers or
I'm
who?
thinking maybe they rely on Kirk, ?
He's my favorite name in FPF.
Kirk?
We've talked about him every week, and we've not removed the name from the roster. Every week. Because we're tired on Fridays, because we do a 3-hour show on Thursday.
You're coming full circle here. Is this actually this last game? Is this not Ryan Kastner having maybe revamped the playbook? And I mean,
I don't think it's necessarily revamping the playbook.
not revamped, but retooled, retouched.
Like
It's
Carruthers,
reps. You got reps in. You can finally
It could be
play
that.
the
Yeah,
game.
it could be that. Yeah.
Carruthers played in this one.
Yes.
And he missed a couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's having some pieces back where you can start to get some communication, chemistry, spacing. We talk about spacing a lot on the show.
Yeah.
And that's something that's hard to do where there's guys who might not be as familiar with your offensive system. So he might be running the same plays as he has been before, but now having Renato Mercier playing his second game, Andrew Carruthers playing his second game, having guys being a little bit more familiar, I think helps out a little bit. I know Ryan Kastner is someone who's very careful with the football, so when you see multiple interceptions constantly, it's partially, I think, at least receivers not being where they got to be.
Right, and tip balls due to that. And yeah.
Breaking at the wrong time, being at 9 yards instead of 12 yards, being at 10 yards instead of 7 yards. All of that affects running a skinny post flat and then cutting off another route.
Yeah.
All that stuff is infuriating as a quarterback, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So-
You just you said that and it like
I
made
saw
me
you roll your eyes.
You made me shudder and like
I hate it so much. I hate it so much.
or like a skinny post and at 7 yards, right when you make your cut, there's a gap. There's an opening. Why are you not looking at me? Dude, look at me. Triple slants, one step. Look at me. You're open. Like, just look at me. You're not looking at me. I'm going to throw the ball right into your head if you don't.
That's the way they learn, Iggy.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah,
it bounces
I
off their head, gets intercepted.
And then you have a Ryan Kastner stat line. Did you mention his, because you asked me, but did you mention his ability to perhaps adapt to what shifting defenses and more adaptive defenses?
And Ryan's one of these guys who, at his height, was one of the best quarterbacks in Division 1.
Bring back Chalk Talk.
What?
Bring
Talk.
back chalk talk.
Oh, my God.
Where they would teach the defense.
He said that very fast, but I somehow caught it.
I was like, what's chalk? The
It's Mokan's alter ego.
the thing, like he was one of the best quarterbacks in FPF, but not having played FPF. And to be fair, 35 plus is not as adaptive a division as the middle and higher divisions are in FPF now, right? Like, I mean, Division 1 is still a lot of man defense and still but you don't see these aggressive undercuttings and stuff that you see in those divisions in a sense.
Back in our day, we did this.
Well, it's a back in our day
It's a
division,
kind of
right?
league.
And so
Remember when defense was simple? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
I miss the Pepperidge Farm era of FPF. I wish I threw then. It was awesome.
Why are you doing? Is that a specific voice I should be
I
recognizing?
don't know the voice. I know the reference.
It's like an old man.
Oh, it sounded like a child.
Child, yeah. You Benjamin Buttoned your voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's, I think that's part of it is he needs to get back to himself, and part of that is getting that rapport with players who have not been there, and that's been the issue.
Fair.
I think if guys start showing up, you'll see more competitive Rainmakers like we saw this week. Pacemakers, however, are a good team to have that kind of game against, because despite being the best team in the division, they've been kind of playing down to the competition. Like they look to be bored by the regular season.
Perhaps.
It really
it's
feels
just
that way.
playoff, and it's
If you remember last season, they were destroying everybody all season
yeah,
long.
Yeah.
And yes, that's Pepperidge
Maybe you
Farm.
remember Grandma toasting homemade raisin bread loaded with plump raisins, swirled with cinnamon. That sweet aroma wafting through the kitchen. Pepperidge Farm remembers they're making raisin bread like Grandma made. No artificial preservatives. A treat for breakfast, coffee breaks for...
So you know why Eagle?
You just showed your age, like big time. There.
I remember because now I'm Pepperidge Farm. But you know why Eagle doesn't play offense? He has no sense of timing. He could have done that when we're moving between segments or between topics.
Did you notice that what went on the toast?
Butter?
Yes, he has Butterfingers.
That's true. There you go.
Yeah.
There we go. That too.
Yeah.
That too. I remember throwing the Eagle.
caught
Pepperidge
him
Farm
many
remembers.
passes.
Shut up! I'm making a joke. Making a joke you set up. Pay attention to your own show.
So while pacemakers, like you're saying, they're maybe
I feel bad. I shouldn't have yelled. I'm sorry.
yeah, your temperament. We're going back to the beginning of the show, the first hour of the show. While pacemakers, you're suggesting they're in cruise control. In this past game against Rainmakers, I'm gonna check if he's on the roster full time or just played one game. No, yeah, Justin Anania, the one of the players for Paquer, having played now for his fourth game with the team. It was important for him to get a connection with Jason Rossi, and he came up big. He had 4 touchdowns in the game. All of his receptions actually going for touchdowns for 62 yards. So developing that chemistry with Jason Rossi is important for pacemakers, just to give another weapon to Jason Rossi. And he's if you remember, he's the guy with a big frame. He's a big target, and like he can do a lot of damage. He has good speed, good hands. So
He takes up so much field.
yes, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he's just a
You
big
just
dude.
went like this, yes,
Yeah.
because he's like this.
He's a refrigerator with legs.
Like you tell your defenses usually to like extend your hands so that the area you're covering is so much more. He's just naturally doing
Yeah.
that. Like
Also, I don't know if he can extend his hands. His shoulders already extend out as far as
Exactly.
humanly possible. So.
yeah. So I think at least if pacemakers are in cruise control, like you're suggesting, getting another receiver to build chemistry with, and 4 TDs is obviously building that chemistry in the right path.
If you're talking about like the frames on this team, you have like Justin Nania, Wade Williams, Shane Williams, and then Scott Binns, Jordan Rossi. It's almost comical.
Two
Oh.
opposites. Yep.
The shoulder haves and the shoulder have-nots.
For sure. Can monsters avoid shooting themselves in the foot? Are speaking of tempers, are the tempers on team, the temperaments, like, is that the issue with them? Is that why we're seeing such inconsistency?
With monsters?
Yeah.
Why do you suggest that?
Well, knowing some of the team is part of the reason.
Yes.
But as I load,
Yeah, with
they're a fiery group, right?
Craig O'Brien, fiery.
Well, not correct. But they have sort of like a lot of like very vocal leaders on the team.
Right. Yeah.
And they beat Glads this week, but we've had games where pacemakers playing down to their competition, they let them off the hook. They played a closer game against Rainmakers than I thought they could have played. Like especially the last 3 weeks, it just
I'll give you the opposite though. In the 2 games against Gladiator, they've gone 2-0.
That's
And
true.
Gladiators
Gladiators are a good team.
are what I believe my take from at least what I get from your perception is that they're actually the not maybe the class of the division, but
they're unlike a lot of the teams. They're the group like Rainmakers. They're a group that played together for a long time, and they just seem to be healthier and also playing together better than Rainmakers have been.
Now that said, in that last game, Monsters 36, Gladiator 31, it was Alex Lever throwing and not their usual quarterback, Frankie Lebeau.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Lever's a very confident.
Yeah.
He was my quarterback in Division 3 before. Like he's
okay.
He's good.
Yeah,
he's really good.
I mean, 22 of 41, 224, 5 TDs, 1 pick. Yeah. That said, for Monster, I think the level-headedness of Craig O'Brien, Andy Peterkin, I think is
steady as the stream. You think?
Yes, they're guys that control their huddle, and so I think it's a recipe for success. It's not gonna shrivel away and it has the potential to though. It
feels like it's close. Like it feels like it's
I guess I see what you're saying now and
like everything's it's okay, but like
until something happens.
But will everything fall apart? Like will it all go wrong?
I don't think so. I think I'll trust the brain trust of Craig O'Brien and Andy Peterkin to
especially Craig O'Brien. I picture him in some of the huddles he's been in the years, and like Eagle, your favorite meme is the "This is fine" meme.
He is that dog.
He's the dog. Like that's like as you were saying it, that's all I can think of is the depiction of the dog with everything on fire.
Can you please put Craig O'Brien's face over the dog? And
you wanted to do graphic design? I was just buying time for him to get the meme. You
Yeah.
wanted to do actual graphic design.
Yeah, but I mean, pull up. You need to pull up the meme either way, and then if you can just somehow superimpose.
There it is. This is fine. Both in meme and GIF form.
This is Craig O'Brien.
Yeah, not as useful to the audio audience, but we did. Hopefully, we described the meme well enough that you know what we're talking about. Then again, it's 35 plus, so maybe they don't know what memes are, or maybe they call them memes.
Memes, yep.
Also possible.
Yep.
JMJ has been plagued by drops and untimely picks, but now they replaced Joel Watson for the rest of the season with Jordan Rossi. How do you think that impacts the team?
Good, or in a positive way, and it's again Jason Rossi throwing. So they're now playing on 3 teams together, plus all the experience that they've had, playing together in past seasons. It's gonna help a lot. They're currently sitting at 2-3. I mean, it's a tight division. No one's taking a stranglehold. It's a very good piece to add. JMJ, I believe, will be the number 1 seed when all is said and done after 8 games here.
Yeah. I like the team overall. The definitely the issues with being able to catch the ball, like it hurts them. I want to ask a question about Jordan Rossi specifically.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, and he throws a nice ball, it doesn't seem catchable. Like it's
Jordan or Jason?
It's Jason's throwing, no?
Yes, Jason's throwing.
Oh, sorry, I meant Jason.
Okay.
It seems like he throws a heavy ball. Does that make sense?
It's an F2000 though.
No, I know, but the way the ball sort of
Comes out.
It feels
Like a
like
thunk.
receivers have to like labor to catch it, which is weird because again I throw a completely uncatchable ball, so I'm not throwing shade.
Yeah.
Some guys look like the ball just sticks to people's hands. Like Daniel Lazara, for example.
Yes.
If you drop a ball, you don't have fingers.
It's on you.
Right? Like with Jordan Rossi, sometimes it just seems like maybe it's the angle it's coming in at. I don't know what it is. Some guys just seem to throw a heavier ball. It's not physically heavier. It looks heavier.
Got it.
you know?
Yeah.
Is that just my perception, or do you feel the same?
Yes and no. I we'll talk about it a little later, but I saw him throwing against Blackouts. Hell of a game of fireworks galore. And I'd have to disagree with you just based on that game, but I do know what you're talking about, and I would have agreed had I not seen this game this past Sunday.
Eagle, how heavy are Jason Rossi's balls?
2.5.
Enough for them to bring back people from the dead if you collect all 7.
It's intense.
That's a dragon's worth of balls. Mm-hmm.
I've often heard
But
that.
they don't just weigh on a physical level; they weigh on a mental level because you have all this power you have to wield.
Did you study psychological balls in your psychology studies?
If you had the
No,
power to
no.
make a wish, would you wield it, and what would you wield it for?
Not answering.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's a good way to use that.
So you
that
didn't
wish.
study this topic, is what you're saying? What a waste of an education.
Seriously, why even go to school? Chris Olsen's having somewhat of a rejuvenation for Paul Vige. He's an interesting dude. I've had the experience playing against him, had the experience playing with him.
Okay.
Great teammate, although at times when he was younger was kind of a dude who'd point the finger a little bit at things going wrong around him. That doesn't seem to be the case. He's really taken on a leadership role with Paul Vige. He's really brought a positive attitude.
Paramount.
Yeah.
Sorry, for Paramount. My
Yeah.
mistake. For Paramount, he's like I said, and I think that's played a part in that rejuvenation. It's really been impressive to see. So I'm happy to see how well he's played so far this season at 35 plus.
Yeah, I mean, 3 receivers already with 200 yards in after 5 games.
And I'm saying this, of course, he had an off game against FPF.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because he was killing it leading into that game.
I just don't want to overreact to one bad game, right? Like
Well,
we
no, of
we
course
tend to do that at times where your last game is your season, but no, he's been great all season long. It feels like in this one maybe chasing points a little bit and having to deal with the frustration of having to cover Yanni Lehrer.
Yeah, yes.
We talked about like what's going to happen when Jeff Rosenblatt and Yanni Lehrer play at the same time, and well, this is what happens: 8 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown because not coverable.
Yeah, that checks out. And then Yanni having 2 interceptions on the defensive side. So yeah, a bit of a blip, I think, in an otherwise impressive season for Chris.
Yeah, 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and I mentioned Paul Vige because the first game he played was against Paul Vige. That one was a tough outing, but since then was on fire. Like in the next 3 games, he threw 17 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in 3 games. Like that's an impressive stat line.
This last game go 3 picks. That's a little scary.
That's what we're talking about. We said that already.
That it's a blip in the radar.
Yeah.
Just a 1.
Eagle once again not paying attention to the show. In co-ed 3, I want to talk about Canicule.
Yeah. Kind of cool.
They got a win against Fast and Furious 3. They did something interesting. They made
What's
a change at quarterback,
Oh,
but not for the entire game, just for contextual reasons.
interesting.
They needed a big play, and I don't know if you've seen Athena play.
I have not, unfortunately. I want to though.
Yeah.
I want to see this team. I want to see what they're about.
Athena Ryan is very decisive. She's a good passer in rhythm when it comes to hitting slants, outs, hooks. Like really good at getting receivers in stride.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have a great deep ball.
Okay.
And so they brought in Alex Marchand. So I like the self-awareness to be like,
Right.
well, this is what we need. And Marchand threw a 40 bomb
Mm-hmm.
where there was 4 receivers and 1 defender in one area, and it was a catch for a touchdown.
4 receivers.
4 receivers to 1
one
defender.
defender.
Yeah.
So
So just threw it up.
You tell me what's
You had
wrong.
numbers,
Yeah.
and obviously defensive breakdown by Fast and Furious. They're
Yeah.
a team that is developing.
That's a play as a defensive coordinator drives me nuts.
Like why?
It's not blown coverage. It's not like, okay, wait, it's just like,
Just
what are we doing?
Not paying attention.
yeah.
It's like having a producer who's not listening to your show.
Yep. It's the same.
Yeah.
Pepperidge Farms remembers.
No.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a game where for Fast and Furious 3, Tony Lala went down early,
Yes.
so it obviously affects them.
Yep.
And
I mean, you get Alex Noel at snappers.
sure, but he's like you lose him at other positions, right? Like
At
it's,
receiver, sure. Yeah.
you know, so it's still a loss to lose.
Yes.
And not having Alex Laroche also that game where
True,
you have
yes.
your two main snappers not available to you.
Like the quote from Ryan was, "You're not allowed to miss another game again."
Yeah.
Alex. Yeah. As he laughed. Yeah.
But like, you know, Kinnickly, it's interesting that they've not done anything particularly
Yeah.
impressive,
Yeah.
but they're improving. They're improving game in, game out.
They're like this. They're more than the sum of their parts.
Yeah.
I think that's another psychological thing I learned.
Adding
Get-
parts.
Just Gestalt principles. Gestalt.
Okay.
Yes.
If you were to sum up their parts, what would the sum total?
You see, it would be canicule, but it's kind of cool.
All right. There we go. You looked for answers on Call the Audible. You came to the wrong place. This show's not about learning.
Do we have a more important question? If you open their team picture, do we have the next Nimrod Janikowski here with someone wearing pajama pants?
Oh, I wrote about that in
Oh, did you? Oh, did you?
Division 6. There was somebody I saw with pajama pants, and I made fun of them. I don't remember who now at this point, but yeah, perhaps.
We might have a rekindling of a Jaguars fan somewhere.
Like, I mean, so I get it if you look like me, like the compression wear doesn't fit me well.
Uh-huh.
So like, but like, you know, I guess this is a style choice specifically because I don't think that's the issue here.
Maybe it's the only things he had that had no pockets.
Could be. That could be.
Pajama pants with or without pockets?
I like
With.
with
I like having the option of storing things.
Yeah.
because otherwise, where am I going to put my lighter when I go smoke when I have my
Exactly.
pajamas on?
I
Exactly.
was gonna say my snacks.
We have different vices,
Yeah,
Eagle.
yeah.
But I often wake up with the lighter in my pocket, and it's a freaky feeling. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all.
I do not wake up with snacks in my pocket.
Do you
Because
eat
you ate
already?
them all. Yeah.
Do you ever sleep eat, Eagle?
No, I don't sleep anything. I
You
barely
don't
sleep.
Sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool that they got they got that win, especially after having lost to Fast and Furious. Now, Coach Ryan Dobbs talked a lot about how next time he plays them, they're going to put up 40, but he's played them twice and hasn't put up 40.
So
I
third
mean,
time's a charm.
Maybe
Question
though Fast Not Furious 3 are some of their parts.
Like the third time,
Yeah.
number 3.
Maybe if you sum up the points. It's
Oh yeah, then you hit 40. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Evan Gerbert's been good for them.
Mhm.
You know, making the most of the targets, 9 targets, 5 touchdowns. Ovid Larea, Patrick Simon, like Simeon's been good. I just think that what Athena Ryan has to do is she needs to at least threaten intermediate and deep passes.
Yes. Yeah.
Throw deep passes to the sideline where you're throwing it to the outside and it's your receiver, nobody.
Yeah.
Throw your deep ball early. Your first read
Yes.
is your
yes,
deep ball.
Yes.
We talk about this a lot. I'm someone who's had to benefit from that because I have a terrible arm. And so if you're not Kevin Wyeth, if you're not even a guy like Ryan Dobbs Garnett who has a really good arm,
Yeah.
if you're not a strong thrower of the football, if you, for example, you have a post over the middle, that's your first read. So if it's 1-5,
Yep.
before the receiver even cuts, you're putting it over the middle
Yep.
and letting your receiver run under it for the catch.
Mhm.
So the only way you get better at that is by giving it a shot. I do like the self-awareness to put Alex Marchand when they needed it, but I think Athena Ryan, if she could just develop that one little part of her game, and it doesn't need to be, you just need to take 2 or 3 shots a game and be
Yes.
able to work that intermediate area, and you'll see a huge improvement.
And maybe incorporate. I don't know the playbook yet because I haven't seen. I do want to catch one of their games, but maybe incorporating more trips, which favors short to intermediate, and driving.
It allows you to see also like the 3 reads in one look.
Yes, yeah.
So that way, if the deep is open early, you can attack it early.
Yeah, because deep, if you're saying like she's struggling with the arm strength, when you want to hit deep is when the guy's wide or girl is wide open. Like, then your ball can float a little longer and you don't have to worry. If you have 2 deep routes and someone's following, only one defender is really following a post and you have another goal on the sideline, you have time to throw that ball.
It's also like why people run post and wheel, right? It's you can hit the fly, but the wheel takes longer to develop, so you don't have to throw it as far down the field.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
So little things like that can help her establish that part of the game because her underneath game is impressive.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
catches it and it's being
Nice.
it's being thrown right into the gap right away.
That's great. That's a lot of success.
Yeah.
You got to
Except when you don't do the other thing,
Yeah.
the other team will just start to encroach and then undercut.
Yeah.
You know.
but until they do that, they keep
keep doing that and
yeah,
then
yeah.
but use that to set up the deep ball
Correct.
or take
Yeah.
a deep shot early just to show you'll do it
Yeah.
and it gives you some more time to run your normal concepts.
Yeah, stick with the gap, but every now and then throw into Banana Republic.
Yikes.
That's a clothing reference.
Ah.
I love when Eagle has a joke to make and you see him he's inching towards the side.
I'm waiting
of
for the
set
moment so you can
because
see that I'm ready.
absolutely and like I see him in my line of vision because he knows he's behind the screen, so I can't see him, but he puts himself in a position so I can make eye contact, so I know to stop talking, so that I can give him the joke, and that's what we got in return. All of that work. What can we make of half and half? Are they matchup dependent or are they up and coming?
Can I just say the matching of the number 2's cleats with their jerseys is very on point.
Yeah.
So kudos.
Good
I'm
call.
already impressed.
I'm not a fan with the glove wear though. We're not even wearing
What are
the
we
same
even doing?
glove color.
Come on.
It's not even blue. Come on, you gotta go all three. You gotta go.
Matching Gab Wiseman's cleats. Kind of.
So give the gloves to Gab. I think this is a sustainable team. It's not. I mean, I guess your question was weird whether they're up and coming or
My guy,
matchup
it's not that
dependent.
weird. You think they're good or do you think they're matchup dependent? It's not complicated.
No.
Their first
Choose
game.
one, defend one. I
No.
might say the same thing. I might say the opposite. Do the thing I'm asking you to do.
No, because up and coming is what?
It's a way of saying are they good?
It's unclear.
Look,
That's
they dropped their first game.
ambiguous.
They've won the next 2 by blowouts. What do we think of them?
I think they're good for co-ed 3.
See?
So up and coming?
No, they're here
So
already.
they're not up and coming.
No, they're already here.
Where are they?
Here, literally
They're
here.
literally not here. I'm looking. I don't see. they're
Gab
here.
Wiseman's all over social media, selling houses and condos.
Nonstop.
Yes.
That dude closes on the house
Yeah.
the way he closes on the ball in the gap.
A rental agreements too, by the way.
Okay. Cool.
Pre-
What?
So sponsor the show. Well, listen, we know real estate agents need tax write-offs. It could be a tax write-off.
Yeah, I mean, the talent's obviously there. And who's official? It looks like Camille Saint-Marie is.
I think Christopher Rivero just threw
was-
one game.
was just for one game. That's where they're gonna struggle. Is I guess moving the offense because 6 TDs in 3 games.
Well, she threw 2, I believe.
To what?
She only threw in 2 games.
Oh, she played receiver. You're saying when Chris Vero was there then? is what
Yeah,
you're
she
saying.
she caught 3 passes for 22 yards and a touchdown against Michael Scott's Tots.
Okay, I see. So in 2 games. So you know what? That's the your minimum is 4 touchdowns. I think
5, but yeah.
no. Your bare minimum.
Bare minimums, yeah.
Yes.
To be competitive.
I think in co-ed 3 that bare minimum we can lower to 3 TDs.
Mhm.
So she's putting the bare minimum on offense, and I think the defense is Gab Wiseman rushing? Yeah, that's not fair. 8 sacks, and the defense minus.
He's so good.
Yeah, But I mean, there's Alex Noel in co-ed 3. There's other high
But
level
like
talent.
so like where teams sacrifice in like a less experienced quarterback or less
Right. complete
receiving core,
and they make up for it.
like Tanya Steer is a really good defender.
And receiver.
And
Yeah.
receiver as well. I haven't seen them in person yet, so I'm curious to see how Marianne Landry Duval looks. I want to see how Aline Bourchier looks. Camille Saint-Marie as well. And on offense, we see that. We see the lack of involvement from the female receivers. Marianne Landry Duval is the one who's most targeted. She's got 8 targets through 3 games, which is
Yeah.
not bad. But we want to see some more involvement.
I want to see a
Especially
woman on this team with 12 targets.
Yeah,
You know?
like it's gonna be hard for teams to match up and play shadow defense against Gab Wiseman, Jamal Roach, and Phil Son.
yeah.
So like that's enough that you're gonna face zones. So knowing that, you know which zones you can attack with your female receivers, well, they'll be forgotten.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens a lot of times in co-ed, and that's where Camille Saint-Marie needs to attack, or Chris Ferro if he's quarterback. It's not clear to me. Chris Ferro only played a game.
Yes.
So I don't know if he's the actual quarterback or if he played that specific
Right.
game for that for
Right.
whatever reason.
Right. If it is Camille Saint-Marie throwing the ball, I'm concerned about the convert game. If they find themselves in a close game against Fast and Furious 3, let's say,
So have they arrived, or are they up and coming because they have to work on their converts?
they
Or they're
are
not arrived at
here.
all?
They're here, but
Here
they're not
physically.
scoring. But they're not scoring on the converts enough
Okay.
for me. Is one area of concern that I have for the team.
You're so stubborn. You're digging in your heels. You're like, I made a decision that I don't like this question,
Yes.
and I'm going to stick with it no matter what happens. I'm impressed.
Are they up and coming, or are they matchup dependent? They're literally not the opposites of each other.
No, but they could be one thing or the other.
They could be both.
Like, are blueberries blue or a fruit? They're
They
both
could,
things.
they both. I just said that.
So you could have answered both. You could have answered neither.
Are we moving on to Division 1?
Yeah, let's do it.
They didn't teach you additive properties in psychology school?
Psychology school.
Brainiology. So we had another edition of Braves vs. All Stars. What did you consider to be new in this go round?
I think the fact that they've already played each other in Division 2, while it's not the exact same squads,
It's a version of.
yes, exactly, and like I don't think Jomer and Kevin Wyeth are scrapping their playbook.
To be clear, this is the upcoming game, Braves versus All Stars, not next week, the week after.
Yeah,
not-
well, but like the next 2 weeks are kind of lumped into a week, right? Like, because there's so little games.
Whose schedule are you looking at? Because I looked at one team's schedule and it's their next game.
I mean, Braves
Oh, wait,
All
they play
Stars.
February 19th.
Yeah, 19th. Yeah, that's it. It's
But
2
that's
weeks
not-
away.
Yeah,
but there's
it's
no
the
week 6.
next matchup.
There's no week 6 in
Because
this
week
one.
6 is Super Bowl week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
they
it's
only
their
play on
next
weekends.
matchup.
Okay. I'm just saying it's coming up in 2 weeks from now.
Can we stop putting a division on one night of the week? It's infuriating. I hate it so much.
Do you think they like it? I mean,
Probably.
you know your Sunday nights are football nights.
Yeah, I
Oh,
guess.
yes, it's Sunday night.
It makes it infuriating for us to cover, though, because we might not be
Feeling's
available.
Right.
I'm there. I was there from 6 to 10.
Oh,
because
what a
one
night.
game, my first game was at 6 and my second one was at 10. So I caught quite a few games.
Yeah, so they're going to play each other again this coming week. So at this point, what are the adjustments? Where's the edge? Right? For All-Star, like there's no two teams who know each other better than Braves and All-Stars.
Is it perhaps because I mean these games come down to converts, so is it a question of how All Stars defend the triple quarterback play of the Braves? I tend to think so.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
Or is it the fact that Kevin Wyeth is pretty much automatic on these converts like we've seen?
So there's nothing. So you're
It's-
saying there's nothing they can do?
I feel like the result is random. It's just absolute randomness, which is fine because football's a weird game. It's a game where a spot on the field can change the outcome. It's a game where a deflected ball can change the outcome. We're throwing an oblong shaped ball, which is awkward. And
A ref call, 50-50
that's what I'm
call?
saying.
Yeah.
Like marking it short on 4th down versus a 1st down.
Yeah.
Marking it just shy of the goal line when it could have been a touchdown.
Mhm.
These are.
This
It
is
literally comes down to that with this team. With these teams.
Someone ate a little bit of food that was a little bit more gassy. One section of the field doesn't want to be played on as much. Little indigestion.
I'm convinced some rushers do that on purpose.
What?
Pass gas right in front of the QB after.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's not been my experience. I've been hit a lot this season, but that's not been my experience.
Yeah, different kind of.
Different kind of violence.
Yeah.
When you look at let's say that we look at these two rosters. Let's start with All Stars. The new pieces that they've added. Royce Emergin, and now Theo Ojea.
Yeah.
How does that compare to the? I don't want to say ancillary because there's nothing ancillary about the Ojea, but like to the additional pieces that we didn't necessarily think about heading into the season, when it comes to, let's say, when it comes to the Braves, with they add Guillaume Belin and
Phil Fada.
So like, man, like if you match up Theo and Phil Fada, like, yeah, I know Theo has the reputation and he's an FPF Hall of Famer, one of the first classes of FPF Hall of Fame, and at one point anyway, the undisputed best player in FPF. Phil Fada is on that track.
Right.
And then Guillaume Belin was a good player I'm a huge fan of, and Royce Emergin, an up and coming Division 1 star.
Why is that cheeky?
Because
you didn't get the reference
you didn't get the
before.
reference.
Is he already there because he's playing in Div 1?
Or is he up and coming?
This show has gone on for too long. We're hitting the 3 hour. We're hitting the 3 hour mark here.
We're almost there. Just 3 more divisions.
I'm trying to point that out to you.
All right, answer the question.
I think I are you asking if Phil Fadin can beat
I'm saying
one-on-one? Can
I'm saying
beat
with the-
Theo
Which team
one-on-one?
got better with
Which
their
team
changes
got-
they made to their roster?
yeah.
Wow. Why
Okay, why did he understand the question? Because he's listening and you not? Because you're not listening?
Because
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good question.
because I didn't take psychology.
At brain school. Where's your brain school now, Iggy?
Yeah, I never said that. You said
I
that.
know.
I'll go with Braves getting Phil Fada. Belan's been there enough seasons now to know the concepts and everything working. It's hard to play defense. The advantage is always going to go to the offense when a player knows the route they're running. And I just think Phil Fada has a bit of an edge right now on Theo, and that's crazy to say. But I think he does. What do you think? You don't.
I don't know. It just maybe it's my bias from having
May-
covered FPF so long. It's
Yeah,
hard to imagine
yeah.
anyone having an advantage on Theo ever.
I know. And I would
As
give
good
Theo,
as Fofana is.
I'd give the advantage to Theo on offense though over Phil Fada covering him. I would do it just the same.
Well, it's not just Theo J by himself, right? He can make ridiculous catches, but Kevin Wise can also put the ball in spots where
Yeah.
only Theo J can make those ridiculous catches.
That's true,
So
yeah.
effectively taking any defensive edge
Yeah.
you could give
Yes,
Fana
yeah.
away because of the ball placement.
Yeah.
So is this a battle for the first overall seed and the de facto bye?
I think so. I think if All Stars win this game, I know it doesn't clinch them the number 1 spot, but it, in all intents and purposes, it does. And I think it's huge. That's huge because that's a first round bye, right?
Yeah,
for the
absolutely.
playoffs. Yeah.
You need to win one less game to win a
Yeah.
championship.
Yeah.
It's literally
huge.
why the Patriots won so many championships
yeah.
was because they got a bye by picking on the AFC East for
Yeah.
2 decades. Will KGB Plus or Bulldogs get a win before their matchup when they face each other?
You know what? I think that they're both 0-4 right now in Div 1. I think they both get victories in their next matchups before facing off against each other.
We kind of called how tough a schedule Bulldogs had to start.
Yeah.
Like it was just a rude awakening into Division 1.
So I think KGP Plus will come away with a victory with double straddle, although only if Phil Cutler plays. What's been up with KGP Plus and not having
He's
a
out of
quarterback?
He's out of town.
Ah,
That's all.
Okay. Is he back in town? Do you know that?
You know how you're not listening to the show?
Yes.
I wasn't I was only half listening when
Yeah.
when I was told about his whereabouts. I don't remember where he's at, which I wouldn't divulge on the show anyway. But also, I was told when he would be back, and I don't remember.
After the Super Bowl, because they're not playing Monday or Wednesday. So is it after the Super Bowl week? Oh,
I you
gotcha.
rephrasing the question won't change the answer. I don't know.
Well, I thought maybe I would
No.
trigger a memory.
Nah, it's gone.
Yeah, no, it's gone. So I. Okay, so I'll change my tone then. I'll go with KGP not winning. If they have Dylan Garber, Quasi Gordon Mall throwing, I'll give the edge to double straddle there. But I will give Bulldogs. Although Party Crashers.
Party Crashers, like I know I don't love the way they play. I don't love their system.
I kind of do. I like their offensive. Like they have
It's so
offensive
easy
punch.
to defend. Like the top teams in the division defend it with ease, and it's like they leave receivers open, and Frisbees refuses to take it.
They beat Kangaroos
Yeah,
40-34.
yeah, it's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
But like in a playoff matchup, are you ever? If you had to pick a game and put money on it, are you ever choosing Party Crashers over Kangaroos?
Yeah, no, not with money on the line. But can Bulldogs get a win over them?
The hard thing is Party Crashers are still a Division 1 team.
Yes.
Division 1-2 team that's been there for a long time.
Yep.
Bulldogs are new to high divisions, period.
Yep.
And our roster that's been forged together from multiple teams, it takes a second. I said early in the season that had they had double straddle later in the season, that might be an opportunity for them once they got everything clicking.
Yeah.
If they don't beat Party Crashers here, the next chance for victory for them will either be KGB Plus or Party Crashers. And depending how this game goes, I might say Bulldogs going winless on the season.
It's possible. It's possible. I think they split one of the two with KGP though.
Maybe. Or one of the two with... Oh, okay, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have Party Crashers, so it's in KGP
Yes,
Plus.
yes,
And KGP, again... But again, if Cutler's there, it's a different team.
Yeah.
Like, we're reacting to them playing without their quarterback, right? Like, I'd like to see what Bulldogs would look like without Miles Gibbon. You know?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yes. No. Not competitive.
No.
Which
And that's the thing. I've seen Bulldogs play. They athletically they look the part.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look as cohesive as Division 1 teams look.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't.
Mm-hmm.
They look like a team that in Div 3 would
Dominate.
murder teams just by being the better athletes, but that doesn't work in Div 1.
Yeah.
Everyone's the better athlete.
Yes.
You know? So it's like when you see like guys from top end colleges playing the NFL.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just be good. Everyone's good.
You're a small fish in a big pond.
Yeah. Junkyard Dogs play a shootout battle against Blackouts that you previewed. You said here that Rossi mentioned that Kazaka climbed the ladder and brought back an end zone interception all the way back for 6. Michael Kazaka is Michael.
Yes.
Guy, I'm dying, man.
I know.
Talking for so long.
Yeah.
Michael Kazaka has been one of my favorite players since I first saw him play in Division 5. He's exciting.
Yeah.
He does everything well. He's fast. He's great at tracking the ball in the air. He's strong. I like the dude a lot.
Good at tracking it offensively and defensively. Yeah.
He's a more jacked willpower in
Ooh,
that way.
interesting.
He can do a little bit of everything, and that ability to win in the air
Yeah.
is...
Well, he made a big play for Blackouts. I found that Junkyard Dogs, Rashawn Perry was very, didn't light up the stats here for 4 catches on his 4 targets, 31 yards and 2 touchdowns. I say that, but then he did have an interception. He had the PD. 2 touchdowns. Maybe the yardage wise didn't do so much, but 2-point extra points. 2-point extra points. 4 points on converge just from him. He was, I don't know. Is it low key? I don't know how to put it, but like he had a big performance without putting up yardage. Let's just say.
And I think they added Rashawn Perry off like the Facebook group. If I remember correctly.
This Junkyard Dog team is loaded.
Yeah,
It's
the best roster they've had in a while. Yeah.
It's really strong when like Vincent Benjamin is your 5th receiver in yards.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And he has the ability on this roster to also be the first.
Yes.
Like it's
yeah.
It's an opportunity.
They're
issue.
interchangeable, right? Like any of these guys could be the number 1 receiver
Like
on any given week.
Yeah. You take away, I would venture to say, a team with Riley Pinecombe, a team with Rashawn Perry, with Vincent Benjamin, with arguably Hugo Almano as a number one receiver in Division 3 is a top half team.
Yeah.
That's a top half table team basically.
Yeah.
Jordan Rossi, like again, like he's just not a very explosive receiver, but he's really consistent. Like he's a great complementary piece, which I don't mean any shade at all. Like he's just a very good role player. But like those 4 guys could be number one receivers on any team, and the team would be better. And they're all on one team.
So, because I was in and out of this game, I saw like 80% of it. Oh, they're rushing TD. There we go. Now the TDs add up.
Yeah.
Question for you on this one here, right? Obviously, Adam Sinagra, we had a conversation a few episodes ago about how his red zone or extra point plays weren't good. Now, if I'm doing the math properly here, 6 touchdowns in this game. They get 2 of their 2-point conversions, but still managed to lose the extra point battle in the grand scheme of things.
Yep.
Well, because they got 4 points on 6 touchdowns.
But that's what I mean.
Right?
Like that's not bad necessarily.
No,
but like
it's a,
even
but so he's still 2 of 6. So like percentage wise, like yes, they got the 2-point conversions, but what he's struggling at is the 1-point conversion because a 2-point conversion is defended more like a regular play.
Yeah. And I think
everyone's
this
running
is
lanes in 4-1 really against a 2-point coverage.
Now he went mostly for 2.
Oh, he did. Okay.
In this game.
Well, he's probably. Yeah. I would venture to say he's more comfortable going for 2, just knowing his playbook. The thing is, again, Eagle, like you say that it's not that bad, but you're looking at the points. He's still 2 for 6. He's still 33%.
No, I know, but that's the thing, though, right? Like in this game, he goes 17 for 23, 200 yards, 4 touchdowns, the running one as well, and obviously the pick 6 to help out. I would say that's not a bad game necessarily. No, right? That's a good game.
He didn't have a bad game.
You put up 40 points, and you lose a game, right? Like how much more can you do to help your team out? And for him, it's just extra points.
This one here is not on Adam Sinagra.
No.
I think I thought Blackouts would have issues adapting defensively. We saw a little bit in the fall in some of their games. They had to go score for score, and it's a coin flip at that point, right?
Yeah.
And you need that, like you're struggling with converts, and the defense is not really shutting teams down.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose more games than you win that way.
Yeah. And his one interception, that he threw to Rashawn Perry, he didn't like the effort put forth by Ryan Vanzlet to go up for that ball. He looked at him like, dude, attack that ball, man. Defend it. Even if you can't catch
Especially
it.
that it's not tackle and Rashawn can't murder you. Because I understand if it was tackle.
Yeah.
As big as Ryan Vanzlet is, Rashawn Perry's a big dude.
Yeah. He was a monster out there. I'm telling you, like this 31 yards.
But they've allowed 99 points in 3 games.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's
Especially
div
again,
3 now.
Given that one of the struggles has been red zone struggles, that's going to be amplified by your team allowing a lot of points. Yeah. So one of those 2 things has to improve. That's where we're at. But I'm happy to see them clicking on offense. Like they're still scoring a bunch of points.
Yeah, of course.
They have they're 1 and 2 with a plus minus of plus 15.
Jesus.
You know?
Oh my God. Wow.
So I'm glad it's working, but yeah, they need to make that adjustment.
Yeah. Peas are the Bearskins. Are they dead to rights?
I've seen them play a lot actually this season.
Okay. Out of Hebera, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my backyard.
Yeah.
So one game they didn't have Neil Ettinson.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you take away Vince Nardone from the receiving core. It's less deep of a receiving core. They have aged from their championship season, right? Like that's.
I saw it recently. It was against Brotherhood.
Yeah. And it was a game where they were considered underdogs, and really just a great game by Neil Atkinson. Great game plan on both sides of the ball.
It's true. You called the game.
I called the game. No, it was fun. It was a legitimately nice moment because I've known these guys for a long time in FBF. You know, with regards to Neil Ettinson, one of the comments made to me by I want to say Kevin Libben, who said a lot of times because Neil Ettinson doesn't have a quick release, he's not getting the ball to things that are open immediately. We've talked about
you have to. It's one of the key things.
And if you don't have a quick release, you kind of need to develop a way for that look to still be open. and force the
Right,
choice.
Yeah.
Force the defense to have to choose to give you that and back up and take away a deeper route. And I think that would help him. He throws a great deep ball,
Yeah.
especially to the sidelines.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But those, as you move up in Division 3, those are harder and harder to hit.
Yeah.
Especially that this is not a team full of blazing speed.
Mhm.
This is a team that's going to have to use scheme
their
to win,
and their hands and move it methodically down the field.
especially offensively. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing
Mhm.
the scheme like they lose 50-6 to Blues.
Yeesh.
They lose 36-6 against Bears against KGP Raw. Infantry, that's a tough matchup for them, absolutely.
yeah.
But 26-6, like
It's the 6th though.
it's 3 games in a row.
6
You're scoring
points.
6.
Yeesh.
Like it's
So I mean, like that said, they're 1-4, bottom of the division, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Or at least bottom of their bottom of Group F.
and they like the game against Blues Clues, for example.
Yeah.
It was 12-6 into the last play of the half. And
Was
AJ
there-
Gomes punched in for a touchdown, and then the game just comes unraveled. And
Right.
and I've had the misfortune of playing against AJ Gomes on defense. He figures out what you want to do and he takes it away, right? So this team is too smart. They have too much FPF experience and intellect to be losing that way. You need to be competitive. You need to have a second and third act. You need to have ways to scheme to be competitive in these games, and they're not doing it. They're just going out there running their plays no matter what.
Yeah. They'll need the wins, and the next 2 games they can be had. They against Air Force One, another struggling team in Division 3. Une phrase bien fournie, just picking up their first win now. These are 2 games that Bearskins they are must wins already.
Yeah, must wins, and I know Air Force One's struggling, but again, it's the kind of team because of the athleticism that if you don't find ways to get guys open, you're not going to win. They're good. Air Force One's a good team.
Yeah, they're good. No, they're good. They're
They're
just
talented.
Yeah.
You know, in France being fourni, that's one that they should handle. You know, that's one that they should handle. Otherwise, you know, like I know that they have Yvan Desjardins and
Yep.
they have a solid team, but it seems a little disjointed. Like it just seems like a bit of a random grouping of guys put together. They don't seem yet like a team that's clicking. Who's the best player in your estimation, Division 3?
Oh, the best player.
Sorry, best defensive player.
Ah.
That's what I meant to say.
I'll go. I might surprise you with this one.
Okay.
I'm between 2, and they're actually of similar build.
Okay.
Short and stocky.
Okay.
I'm going between Mike.
Stephen Harperside.
No,
I don't play Div 3.
I'm between Mike Piercin and Nick Gomez Rizzo. 2 of the leading INT guys in the division right now. Mike Piercin is dangerous when he gets the ball in his hands. 3 pick sixes already of the 5 interceptions he has. Nick Gomez Rizzo, with every passing game, he's getting it more and more every time. He's becoming a threat, a 2-way threat, really, but and especially now, specifically on defense. I'll go with the up-and-comer. I'll go with Nick Gomez
Up
Rizzo.
and coming, huh?
Yes. Now, in this case, it works.
Has he been around? Has he already arrived? Blah blah blah
or,
blah blah blah.
Or is he matchup dependent?
He's matchup dependent. I don't know how. I don't know why. Next week I will prepare a defense for why he's matchup dependent. The thing is, like, so I have a DB. One that you didn't mention was Olivier Suri. Olivier Suri is one of the true
safety.
one of the best like safeties cover guys. I've
very
seen.
true, very true.
Underappreciated in FPF in general.
Yeah, not talked about enough. So
But like
go.
part of the
Go for
reason
it.
that he doesn't have stats is dudes don't throw there.
Yeah,
Like he's really good. But I actually think this is the division of the rusher. So Noah Groper takes too many chances, but talented.
Yeah.
Thomas Coutu, top 3 rusher in FPF, top 4
not just of 3 and all
FPF.
of top 5.
top 5. Okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Splitting
yeah,
hairs.
Yeah.
Armand Bala, up and coming.
Up and coming.
But no, you have to tell me why he's matchup dependent.
God damn.
Jessica Bonstappen, by the way, 5 sacks in 2 games.
Yeah. Jesus.
It doesn't matter where she plays, by the way. Every division, she's a menace.
Yeah.
And
Down the middle
and-
in this div is tough.
I'll give you another 2
Ooh.
that are like I haven't even put up the numbers yet, but
Oh,
just
I know one. I know one.
with how disruptive they are.
Denzel Eddie
Denzel Eddie Lowe and Joey Notaro,
Yeah.
because I've seen both bring back multiple pick sixes from the rusher position.
Very true. Yeah.
So
They can change the game script in a heartbeat.
and like Kevin Marshall,
Yeah.
how many talented rushers are in
Yeah.
this division? It's insane.
Ryan Aridi.
He's in this. Ryan Aridi. I don't even know if he's rushing all the. He doesn't rush full time as much anymore, but
But he could.
he could. Like if you bring in Ryan Aridi on 3rd or 4th down, wow, that's nice to have,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So like, it's a lot. Man.
Isaiah Lard's in the division.
Is he?
Yeah.
2 picks, 1
What is
sack.
this division? Manuel Odoa, by the way, also really good rusher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Xavier Tran Khan, like another guy who takes too many chances, but just raw
Oh
speed
yeah.
is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. So rushers are the best defensive players, I think,
Okay.
in this division.
Cool.
That and Olivier Suri. Will Power said the villains would upset benchwarmers and even see them in the finals. What happened to the villains? They got destroyed by the
They got
benchwarmers.
smoked.
I didn't agree with Will on this one.
Which part? That the villains would win this game at Brossard, or that these 2 teams, Benchwarmers and Villains, would meet at the finals?
Yes.
Yes.
I knew it. Perfect. Look, he's producing the show like for you.
Yeah, that's his job.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the easiest setup ever, though. Like,
Yeah.
So why? Why?
I was actually trying to line it up to say it at the same time.
Why did you disagree?
Benchwarmers are really good.
Yeah.
Constance Miller is one of the best female players in FPF.
Yeah.
In Canada.
Canada.
In Canadian flag football.
Yeah.
Gab Wiseman is like, we played against them without Gab Wiseman at quarterback last year, and I was still impressed with them.
Yep. True.
When Gab
Yeah.
Wiseman's playing with them at quarterback, they're scary.
Yes.
They added Lucas Kenville,
Yes.
Who's-
My guy.
insanely fast.
That's
Um,
four things.
Jocelyn Calix is a big body, so they have size, they have speed, they have quarterback experience. Nick Gomez Rizzo, like AJ, is a dude who, as a defensive player, feels like he's everywhere.
Yes. Yeah. He.
You think something's open, and he's not covering there. He's shooting somewhere else, but he's taking a route to make it look like something else is covered.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not ready for that, and given that they have either Lucas Kenville or Gab Wiseman rushing, you need to hold the ball an extra second with that coming
Which
at
you don't have.
which you don't have.
You don't have because they're bearing down fast.
And then Melissa Rochefort is solid.
Yeah.
She's not Constance Miller, fine.
Yeah.
But she's a solid player. There's not a weakness. And Boucher is really good too. Like, there's not a weakness.
But for the villains to put up 0.
I saw it coming. Not 0. I saw it. I saw a blowout coming. There's too much volatility. Also, they have a point in the second.
No. It was a correction. It was a scorekeeping error. Yep.
I don't know. Villains are really good at playing against teams of lower caliber than they are.
Fair.
They're better when they can out-athlete you. Great.
Yes.
That's not happening in this scenario.
Correct.
In fact, the fact that they scored 31 against Fit Squad to me is surprising. Fit Squad just also has these games where sometimes they just don't show up defensively, but yeah. Like, Flashbang team is as athletic as they are, beat them. Fit Squad, knowledge and athleticism, beat them. Benchwarmers, to me, the most athletic team in the division, they did what they're supposed to do. They wiped them out.
Yeah. Some of the comments were that Mehdi Shabshub was perhaps going deep too often, and that's the nature of a bit of the villains' offense.
It's highly volatile.
And I
And
don't
too reliant on athleticism.
and I don't like. I've seen. It's not the first time I see multiple quarterbacks for the villains.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like. It's not
Instability in the
it's-
huddle,
it's-
perhaps?
yeah, like hey, I want my shot at
Come on, it's
quarterback,
not working. Let's try something else.
or if it's not that, or himself like taking himself out of the game, like okay, it's just no, someone else go in, like, and that demotivates that demotes a team on offense, and they kind of probably spiraled downwards in this one.
Also, Michael James, Kenny Batelier,
Yeah.
literally, the team's bench is better than some teams.
The bench,
Starters, right?
bench
Like,
warmers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
aptly named.
Yeah.
Aptly named.
Yeah.
No, it's I've been a fan of Nick Gomes Rizzo since the first time I saw him play. I was like, oh, this dude's good. This
Yes.
good already?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like AJ. Like when he first got on the scene, it was like good immediately.
Yeah.
Like this guy was made for flag football.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nick Gomes Rizzo is that guy.
Yeah.
And then again, the team has every component. They have everything you want. They have size. They have experience. They have quarterback play. They have all the things villains don't. Villains have one thing.
Yeah.
They have athleticism.
Yeah.
And if they can't win that way, they can't win.
So our bench warmers going to the final for you.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. They were-
You
were
you
my
and
pick
Will do
preseason.
agree with one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was just he was kind to villains, I thought.
So that said, if you think that bench warmers are that good, the flashbang team just beat them.
Yeah.
So what does that say about flashbang team?
We've talked about them. So as I open the wrong tab.
So
You give me your part first. How's that?
Sure, so because I played, their only loss came to Kiss My End Zone. It was week 1 of the season, and I with multiple years now of experience, like you, I'm starting to see that week 1, it's kind of a crapshoot. Like, no one's on point. The chemistry's not always there. I think that's especially true for a flashbang team. I think these guys are dangerous. I said it on, I think it was the first or second week of this podcast, that watch out for flashbang team. I think the comparison was between flashbang team and the villains. And I said, watch out for flashbang team, that if this team gets hot, which they are, they can ride their momentum all the way to the finals. And in a finals potential preview, they took care of the bench warmers.
But they're similar. Like Jean-Nicolas Brinko and Ariane Brinko, athleticism there.
Yeah.
Charles Véro gives him some size is the wrong word, but he's got like an imposing
figure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, he was
Stocky and thick kind of thing.
he was everywhere
Oh, he's really good.
in the game against bench warmers. He was just everywhere. 10 receptions on 11 targets, 109 yards, 2 TDs. He had a pick 6 in the game. He was a bench killer for the bench warmers.
And I kind of like that they can win a game defensively. Like you see the team and you imagine, they're going to be really good offensively, but this is a game where they had to clamp down, and they forced Gab Wiseman to throw 3 interceptions, one of the more gifted quarterbacks in the division. I'm surprised, not surprised by the result per se, because 1-score game. This is a final that I can see.
Yeah.
I can see Kiss My End Zone as well. Fit Squad as well. Like there's 3 or 4 teams that I think have a legitimate chance, and these are 2 of them. But I would have thought like it's 39-33, 39-36,
Yeah.
33-28, like something like that. 21-13. That kind of outcome is surprising. And it's a game where it looked like benchwarmers had pretty much everyone, and it just a well played game by flashbang team.
Yeah. The game started actually with the pick 6 on the first drive for bench warmers, not necessarily the first play, the fourth play of the game.
By Bureau.
So it was, all those stats went to Charles Véro, actually. There was another scorekeeping error. I corrected it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All of those stats went to Charles Véro. The only thing I'm not certain about Flashbang team, and tell me if you agree here, is they alternate between Jeremy Augustine and Charles Vero at QB.
I don't know what the plan is for the playoffs.
It's I don't either.
I like Charles Velo as a receiver.
Yeah. I
Like,
think that's their best
He might
combo.
actually also be the best quarterback, but I think losing him at receiver is paralyzing.
Yeah.
And we see this because in a game where they feel like, hey, this is real competition. This is a game where we need to win.
This is the best combo.
Augustine's at quarterback.
And it was their Dirty Dogs playoff combination as well with Augustine at quarterback.
I
and
think that's
Vero.
what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're gonna do. But yeah, so I'm impressed. I'm impressed by both teams. It feels like just yesterday, Kiss My End Zone had like a stranglehold on this division, and now that
Nope.
gap is gone.
Nope. With
Like-
one loss and
But like even in previous seasons, it's like, oh well, like there's 2 or 3 teams, like
I love that though. I
yeah,
love
of
that
course,
about
of
the
course.
division.
but-
One loss changes the outlook
Yeah.
of the division completely, and it's so much. This is so much better. The stronger competition, the more varied competition, different
it makes for great games
lineups, different matchup dependencies,
and up and comers.
and up and comers, all lead to just fascinating storylines, game management, and thoughts. More thoughtful game planning.
Which of these up and coming teams with one win, Deep Balls, Hungry Hippos, and Team Rocket, is in trouble? Playoff matchup depends, so to speak. And which will cruise their way to the playoffs?
Up and coming.
Yeah, which are up and coming? I started by saying they're up and comers.
Despite their win, Team Rocket over Block Party.
Block Party is going through it though.
Yeah. I mean, both teams were winless going in, so one of them something had to give. I think Team Rocket's in a bit of trouble. Although I did see some nice balls thrown by their quarterback Paradzi. He's off. He's hot and cold. Some throws look like they're on a dime, and they're catching the receiver right in stride. Other balls, I'm just looking. It's like, what was the thought process there? This is 10 yards over the receiver's head. So I'm worried about them. The team that I think can cruise their way into the playoffs. So, again, given that all these teams are 1-3, Hungry Hippos are the team for me that their female players, and this was a sentiment shared by Charles Vero himself, that the female players on Hungry Hippos mostly of the Bourget Volts are really, really good.
Yeah.
So not surprising. We know that, but like
I called that game in the finals.
yes.
Yeah.
But even within the context of Co-Ed 2, they're still one of the better teams with female players, and we know that is one of the recipes for success in co-ed, is having the strength of female players, and Hungry Hippos have that. Of course, led by the experience of Ali Laberge. I like them to have not an easy way to the playoffs, but they'll be fine.
Yeah, Julien Fortin is really good. Mathis Fausancy is really good as
Yeah.
well. And of course,
Yeah.
you talked about Olivier Laberge, was their coach from
Yeah.
the Volts.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to agree with you. It's surprising that they only have the one win.
I'm surprised.
But I mean, it could just be, it's taking them a second, and like they haven't had an easy schedule. Like the IG team we talked about, like they're a team where if you don't match up well, it's tough. Fit Squad and Flashbang team are two teams we've talked about already as being really good. Badgers are a team that could be had. I saw them play this week, and they lost to Fighting Tigers. And they just got out managed basically by Seth Galina at quarterback with Maud Lacasse watching, as we talked about. And then they play Kiss My End Zone Benchwarmers before they go on to play Block Party. So like the middle part of that schedule is tough. Like they have Badgers, which is a 50-50 game, and then two hard games, So that's something to watch out for.
Pease Delaries, sign us off here.
Well, it's time for
Yes, it's
Games of the Week.
yes.
Games of the Week.
I have a feeling Iggy is very tired right now and wants to
He's
go
like,
home.
let's go home. It
right.
went on too long today, guys. Sorry, that's on me. I thought we had one division left and we had 3 left. That's why.
5.
All right, let's go through these. This should go somewhat quick
Yeah, there's
because
less
some
games.
divisions don't have Week 6 games. But we're going to start with Division 6. Why so serious? Gyprock State University.
Why so serious?
Why so serious?
Betway Bandits, Gru's Crew.
Grew.
Betway.
The Habibis, Demons.
Habibis.
Habibi.
Yeah.
Top G, X-Men.
X-Men.
Go X-Men.
Seatown Spice, Threat Level Midnight.
Threat level midnight.
Give me some spice.
Wild Hogs, FA Squad.
Hogs.
I'll go Wild Hogs.
No Fly Zone, Towers FT.
No fly zone.
Fly Zone.
And Trailer Park Boys, Dak to the Future.
Trailer Park Boys.
Give me Dak.
All right, Division 4. Nomads, Friends with Danny.
Friends with Danny.
FWD.
Ludnod Bream, Blue Dreamers.
Bream.
Bream.
The Reet, Cunning Stunts.
Reet.
Reet because Cunning Sons won't have jerseys.
Top G's, Les Bleus Branleurs.
Top G's.
LBB.
And Mengoose, Trap Stars.
Trap Stars.
Trap Stars.
All right, Co-Ed Division 1, enjoy your bye. Division 2, Touch Foot 450, Urgence
Urgence
Médic.
Médic.
Urgence.
All right, we have Women's Division 1, enjoy your bye. Women's Division 2, enjoy your bye. 5B, The Penetrators, Bulldogs.
Penetrators.
Depends.
Killer Rays, Him You.
Killer Rays.
Killer Rays.
Ball So Hard You, Les Bleus Dry.
Blue Dry.
Blue Dry.
All right, Division 5A, The Process, the Tokyo Sandblasters.
Process.
Process, but Tokyo's getting better.
Yeah, yeah.
Glory Boys, Big Fat Bats.
Oh, that's good.
Big fat bats.
No Sam Mash, no problem.
problem.
You heard that.
No
Give
Sam
me,
Mash, all the bats.
Yeah, give me big fat bats.
All right, 35 plus, Polvige, FPF.
FPF.
I'll go FPF as well.
Paramount to JMJ.
Paramount.
I'll go JMJ.
Rainmakers, Monster.
Rainmakers, let's do it.
Nah, I'm going Monster.
And Gladiator, Pacemakers.
Gladiator.
Yeah, Glads.
All right, Co-Ed Division 3, enjoy your bye. Division 1, enjoy your bye. Division 3, Blue Chips, Les Gros Coq.
Blue chips.
I'll go LGC.
Les Malouds, The Stoics.
Malud.
Go Stoic.
Air Force 1, Bearskins.
AF1.
AF1.
GIF, Une Phrase Bien Fournie.
GIF.
I'll go GIF.
That's What She Said, Never Overtime.
That's what she said.
Michael Scott.
And Mongoose, Les Verges Folles.
Ooh, Mongoose.
Mongoose, yeah.
Fun game though.
And
Yeah,
in our
yeah.
last division, Co-Ed Division 2, enjoy your bye.
All right, that was easy.
That was efficient, wasn't it?
Thank God.
Yeah. This was definitely one of the longer episodes we've done.
Yeah.
It's not like we have a clock on the wall or anything.
It wasn't the clock. It was the script. I misread the script.
Misread it.
Yeah, because I thought it was on the last page, and then I scrolled. I was like, oh no, just 3 more divisions.
5 more. There was 5 more.
No, it was 3. From where I thought it was 3.
Guys, most important games of the week. Eagles or Chiefs?
Well, one team has the MVP, and that's Patrick Mahomes. He won MVP tonight.
Oh, he did?
He
Yeah.
did officially, which he should have, by the way, because
Yeah.
it's better than his MVP season already. So,
Yeah.
my money is on the Chiefs. I have already placed my bets. Chiefs money line. Travis Kelce first touchdown scored. I took the under also.
You're going the under.
Yeah, under cashes 80% of the time in the Super Bowl. Not recently though, so we'll see.
You know where I'm going. So, Eagle, where are you going?
I do not believe in the Gestalt psychology, and I don't believe that I should be a whole with my parts. So I'm going Chiefs. No Eagles.
Thank you, Eagle, for your support in choosing the Chiefs. Thank you, Iggy, for your losing bets. And thank you all for letting me be myself.
The shaker, yeah, she was a ball shaker. She shake